What is up, gamers? Oh my goodness. Jump scare, what the hell? Guys, I'm a snail. I've been getting honestly back into Snail Simulator. It's one of the greatest games of all time. Oh my god. But I've almost 100%ed it. I have been speedrunning it a little bit. Doing some of the speedruns. I got a world record, but... Oh shit. Hold on. I dropped the water. I did get a world record, but the last world record was from like a year ago, and it sucked, and I beat it like 5 times by accident. So it's not really that big of a deal. But I was speedrunning it. It's very fun. It's very stupid, very fun, and I like it. I fucking love that game so goddamn much. But I am a snail. I made a new PNG tuber, and I'm excited to test it out. Hopefully my computer is fine with this, because I'm gonna be playing Minecraft. Presumably. I'll presumably be playing Minecraft. I'm not exactly sure yet. I'm pretty sure I'll be playing Minecraft. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing in Minecraft, but I will certainly be playing it. Hold on. I need to adjust my PNG tuber levels real quick. I think that's good. That seems good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay. I'm excited to show my PNG tuber. It's freaking epic. It comes directly from Snail Sim, but it was a really big pain in the ass to implement it into PNG Tuber Plus, because there's a whole bunch of weird, dumb restrictions. So I did the best I could, and it's not the greatest, but it's honestly better than I was expecting it to be, which I'm happy about. Let me go to the scene. Look at me. Look at me, I'm beautiful. Look at me. It's me, I'm the snail. I had to use like their weird sprite sheets shit, and it was really complicated and difficult, and I did not enjoy the process. I'm a snail! Playboy Cardi fan 1629. I don't know who you are, but I'm a snail. Look at me. Look at me. Bask in my glory. I'm fucking beautiful. Because it's awesome. It's from Snail Sim, the greatest game of all time. And I am a snail. It comes directly from the game. It was just really hard to implement it into PNG Tuber. I think I'm going to be playing Minecraft. So, hold on. I don't know, are you from Twitter? Are you from, I did self-promo in a couple channels. I assume you're from Twitter, because I don't know anyone outside of it. It would be cool if you're not, though. I don't know what in Minecraft I should do, honestly. And Playboy Cardi fans are in my nightmares, you're not wrong about that. Hello, I'm a snail. I think I'm gonna just try, I'll try doing modded, I guess. I don't know how it'll run. Let me open Task Manager real quick. I don't trust this shit. Hello, Caesar. I'm a snail. This is so much better than the pigeon. I like the pigeon was so fucked and cursed, and I liked it for that. But this I like this a lot, actually. I'm a big fan of this. I did the plain snail. I was considering doing a snail that's like all dressed up, but I decided against it. I could have done the same as last time. The last stream, which was crosswords, or no, word searches. And the word searches is really fucking fun. And I'm very excited. I'm excited to do it again, but I felt like I didn't want to do it again this time, because that took a lot of mental energy. I have completed like 3 more pages from that. So I think I'm on 74 now, which is cool. I don't have like 80 hours. I have like 30 hours, 34 hours. I need to get 100 hours for the achievement. Snail Simulator, trust me, one of the greatest games of all time. It is like well worth I think it's on sale for $1 right now. $1.50 with the DLC. It is like, you'll get $30 worth of entertainment out of this fucking game. It's incredible. I love this game so goddamn much. It's so fun. I love this game. Man, this game's so good. Hold on, I have to, because it's set to capture full screen, but I don't play Minecraft's full screen anymore. I'm just gonna set up display capture. No, not display capture. Dummy. Stupid, stupid, dumb, stupid idiot. I need to set up a window capture. And then I'll put the window capture right underneath. Hold on. Quick pause. I'll put it right underneath game capture, and I'll make it, then I'll select Minecraft. And it's too big for the screen, because I play in 1440p. Just stretch the screen? Sure. Perfect. I think. Why is it frozen? What? What is wrong with you, game? Oh, that's no. just I just share fucking task manager. Task manager leak. Ooh. Okay. I don't know why this isn't working. Is it not working? No. Stop. Why isn't that work? Is it frozen on the stream too? Because it's frozen on OBS. Yeah, it's frozen. What is wrong with it? What do you want from me? Okay. Properties? I think that fixed it. It's stuttering really bad, but that's because the game is doing that. I think it's because I'm not tabbed into it. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know why that fixed it. I just changed the capture method to be Windows 10 instead of automatic. I guess it was doing a different one other than Windows 10. I don't know how that works, but we're about to find out if this runs properly. It's on a different person's server, and their server is very unreliable because they host it themselves. So I guess we'll see if the server is actually up. I probably should have checked before I started stream, but whatever. Gulp. Okay. Not getting very many frames in the video game, but honestly, that's fine. CPU's at 100 max. That's fun. I mean, turning down the resolution I don't think would fix that. But I can try doing video settings. Would it even be here? I don't know. I don't think I've ever tried to change my resolution. Full screen resolution. Oh no, that's going down. I mean, I stream at that. No, because that only counts if it's full screen and it's not full screen. Whatever. Well, the GPU's just not gonna be happy with me. I've got a fucking fan pointed at it anyways, I don't care. Okay. I don't even know what to do. Right now, the last thing I was doing was using these, storage terminals. I don't have... I'll just do this. To set up these are obsidian chests, and I was using them to sort all my stuff. I don't... Something feels wrong. Something about the game feels weird. The GUI settings are off, I think. No. The GUI settings are right. Something about the game feels weird, and I don't know what that is. I haven't played it in a little bit. Maybe that's it? Not sure. This magnetic force field is the most overpowered thing of all time. I fly so fast that I go through the world and then crash the game. Because it repels, you get repelled by nearby blocks. And you just have infinite speed. Okay, the server is not cooperating right now. Water is the best, because you just go down all the way in the water. And then, I don't know if you can see the XYZ coordinates. But right now, my Y level is at 4. And then I turn on the magnetic force field. And since it repels me through the water, I just go shooting up into the sky, and I reached Y368. I went from sea level all the way down to bedrock, and I went up to like Y700, And you can use another mod in tandem with this to gain infinite momentum. And I shot up like 400,000 blocks into the air, and it crashed the server. And it was really funny. But I ended up losing my stuff, and I had to use commands to get it back, so it was still really funny. I have the screenshots as well. I could screenshots. Let me find the correct ones. I think this is my max. 331,857 or 870. Can I just copy and paste images onto here? No, I have to have an image source to be able to copy and paste it. Oh, I can't copy and paste it. That's so lame. Why can't I just copy paste things? I think this is the image. Let me... Look at that. 331,000 blocks into the air. I was in like a beacon, that's why it looks all weird. But look at that shit. That shit's insane. I went so fucking high in the air. Okay, now I know how it works at least. I don't really remember what it was. The last thing I was doing was the inventory management. That seems really boring for a stream. I'm really happy with this. I found a way to move mob spawners using the create mod. Or no, Valkyrie in Sky is the create adjacent fly mod. So I set up a 9 spawner. It's really loud. Huh. I set up a 9 spawner mob grinder. And it's automatic as well. And gives me all the items. Too many items, really. And it drops these backpacks from Traveler's Backpacks. So I have to have a separate chest for that. And then the bows just get burned. I love this thing. I'm very proud of it. It took me a long time to get all the materials for it. I don't remember if I've ever streamed on this server before or not. I don't think I have. I have these Air Jordans. It's really funny. Alex Caves is the mod where these gumdrop shoes come from. They're shoes made out of gumdrops. And they allow me to bounce. So if I like jumped off a high ledge, I would bounce around and they would create rainbows behind me, and it's awesome. But then there's another mod, I think it's the whatever grapple hook mod that isn't on the server. And it creates an achievement, an enchantment called double jump that lets you double jump. So you double jump, bounce, and then double jump in midair, and you just gain... It's not infinite height. It caps out at around 100 blocks, but it's still really useful for traversing. I found this before I had the magnetic force field, but it's still very useful because the magnetic force field is so powerful. Oops. That's its one weakness. This is an SMP, but it hasn't been active in a couple months, so I'm the only person that's logged in like 4 months. because I took a break from the server, and that means that everyone else immediately left. I guess I was just, since I was playing, everyone else had an excuse to join. But then once I left, everyone just forgot that the server existed. I'm always the only one that's playing. I've gotten used to it. I had it set up to where there were 8 double chests here and 8 double chests here. This was vanilla items and this was modded items. But I ran out of space. I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit so that you can hear me at least a little better. That's probably too quiet, but whatever, I don't freaking care. There's a bunch of funny mods on this server. I love it. Okay. There's create mod, obviously, and a bunch of create add-ons. My favorite being create estrogen. That includes, like, estrogen in it. Literal estrogen. That gives you tits. And the best part is these thigh highs that negate all fall damage. I have a pair of bisexual ones. But I have other variants. And it completely negates all fall damage, and it's extremely useful. I wouldn't be able to play on the server without it. I'm eating bacon sandwiches because I got it from an admin after they blew up my house repeatedly. They gave me a bunch of stuff because they blew up my house, and it was really funny. Okay. Open my backpack, ender chest. I have so much random shit in my ender chest. I have the fart gun from Despicable Me. I have the Smitty something or whatever. I don't watch SpongeBob. I never did as a kid, but it's the one guy's hat from SpongeBob. I have a compressed nether star block times 6, which means a nether star block is 9 nether stars, and then it's not even to the... It's 9 to the power of 7. This block is 9 to the power of 7 nether stars. So it's a lot. And then I have a bunch of diamonds as well, of course. And then I think that's 10 to the power of 9 iron. That seems right. A bunch of netherite. This is a bundle full of plushies. I really like all the plushies that they have. Potted flutter, magic conch. I don't know what the magic conch does, but someone gave it to me and I kept it. I have an axolotl. Oh yeah, there's a mod that has Pokeballs in it. Very funny. And you could just throw a Pokeball at it and catch any mob. I caught these from... I have a lot of unique items. But this is a, candy corn. It's a unicorn made out of candy from Candyland. I sound fucking insane, but hold on. Let me prove to you that I'm not insane. Look. It's a candy corn. Look. It's a unicorn from Candyland. That's a creeper. Creepers are still deadly. Although, mob griefing is off, which is good. The these 2 Pokeballs in my inventory contain, the 2 Mega Bosses. The Luxtractosaurus. If I place that into the world, it would destroy the entire server almost instantly. It would destroy everything. We would instantly lose. Like, everything would be gone. So I pretty much have, like, a nuke. There are nukes in this mod, and I think there's Godzilla. I think you can, like, blast an alligator with radiation and make Godzilla. It's fucking weird. And then Hole Breaker, I don't remember what Hole Breaker, I think it's like a massive fucking squid. It probably wouldn't break anything. I don't know how Hole Breakers work. I never really experienced one. I saw one and then threw a Pokeball at it and didn't really experience how it actually worked. But since it's a squid, it'd probably just die on land. So, I'm still not touching it. That's just a blobfish. I don't know why it's in here. Dread bow, really fucking good bow. I just haven't used it. Typhoony, I think it's a, harpoon gun. I blanked on the name. Hold on. This novelty hat has the curse of uwu-fying on it, which is from Create Estrogen. Let me type in chat. Hello, my name is Markiplier. It's not, by the way. But if I put on the hat with curse of uwu-fying and say the same thing, it'll say it in an uwu voice. Hold on, let me... Okay. And it'll... Oh, okay. That didn't really work. And it'll change. It has multiple different modes of uwu-fying. And I don't know how it decides between them, but it's very funny. Hold on, let me put everything back. Oh yeah, there's an inventory pets mod, and I use the ender chest pet instead of having ender chests on me. The squid pet is really good, the magma cube is really good, but the Illuminati pet is the best. Because you use it. Actually, is the X-File... It plays X-Files music. I doubt that it's copyrighted. If it was copyrighted, then it wouldn't be used as heavily as it is, right? Well, I'm just gonna pray and hope and pray that it's not copyrighted. It plays X-Files because it's like the Illuminati from the MOG memes. It's funny. It was designed by Lachlan, the Fortnite streamer. Very funny. It gives you a random item on right click. Literally. Completely random item. It could be anything. One of any of these. Hold on. It could be any one of those. Like, it gave me Gonostone Stairs. I don't know what Gonostone is. Actually, I think that's the stone from the Dinosaur Land. I think that's the stone from the Dinosaur Land. I don't need it. It's going in the trash bin. Where did I place the trash bin? Whatever. There's a trash bin outside. My wheelie bin with trash. Wait. Shit. That's really fucking funny. I just threw away my Illuminati pet. It's fine. I think I had a spare. I had a spare. That would have been so fucking funny if I didn't have a spare and I just lost it because of that. Oh my god. Sweet berry ice cream. This is from the Candyland and you can eat it. Everything in the Candyland is edible. This is rock candy from the Candyland and you can eat it. Oh my god, that would have... I just threw away a fucking Illuminati pet. These things are so rare. But, the problem with the Illuminati pet is that it will give you a random item. But we also have create compression, so it can give you a compressed item. That's how I got all of those infinite amounts of materials. Look at all of my materials. With all the compressions. Fucking insane. So I have like infinite amounts of everything. I don't really have to worry. Oh yeah. This is the SS Olive. This is like a shitty little boat that I made. Someone else put that sign there. Oh yeah, Among Us plushie. This is one of my boats. This is my original boat. I made a boat, and it flies because I needed to get, olives, as the name implied. I desperately needed olives. So, I made this in hopes of finding them, and it took me fucking forever, but I finally found them, thank God. See? Compressed spruce plank 5x. So that's... That would just be 9 to the power of 5, I think. So that's 59,000 spruce planks. So I'm not gonna be needing spruce planks for a while. I'm pretty sure I have some as well. I hope that B or Liz is not watching. Hold on. I have a hidden chest here full of my compressed stuff. Oh yeah, there's copycat blocks. There's copycat ghost blocks, which are my favorite. It's very funny. This game's crazy. This is everything that I have. Oh, ads. This is everything I have, that's vanilla. Except, I think there might be, yeah, there's some amethyst in here that I'll switch over. A light? Ooh, I've actually been wanting to get into that. There's a mod called Exposure that lets you do, it lets you take, like, Polaroids and shit. And you can do, traditional light cameras. They have to actually put into, like, dark... They have, like, custom dark rooms and shit. It's crazy. I'm starting to run out of space here. Oh yeah, here's a bunch of the stuff that I got from Candyland last time I went. I pretty much only got rock candy because I wanted to use it for a build. Yeah, you can make these photographs. These ones I got from structures, but you can make your own. There's a There's so much crazy shit in some of these mods. Oh yeah. I have some villagers hidden behind here. They're not useful to me at all. Polished cut Scorchia wall. Sure, I'll keep it. Whatever. These guys aren't useful to me at all, that's why they're trapped behind a wall. I also have a chicken jockey down here. But I'm not gonna show you that. Oh yeah, there's a Swedish fish. There's Swedish fish from the Candyland, and they live in purple soda. And and I have a green one. I have a green Swedish fish. My main goal for this server was to make like a massive factory. I don't think it has to be massive. I think it could fit within like a chunk. But I'm not smart enough because I wanted to use create mod for it. Damn. Hold on. The ender chest pet. I have this feed bag because these guys have to eat food. And I have a feed bag here with a bunch of food for them. But the ender chest pet eats food when it's in your inventory, so I'm just gonna put it away since I'm not using it. My backpacks are full. I have this lapis backpack. There's a chance to like double the XP that you get from it, and someone has an XP farm that relies on that doubling to like duplicate XP. It's really cool. But this is the one I have upgraded. I also have the bat backpack that just lets me see in the dark. Let me put on my magnetic force field and fly. Oh yeah, there's whales, by the way. This is someone else's base. This is Wushi's base. It's really fucking cool. They're making like an underwater base, and I helped them drain this orb over here. This sphere. I helped them drain this out over here. This door should not be open. I helped them drain this out, and it was such a pain. This is a tiny little room compared to the one over there. Oh yeah, these are one of the flutters that I had. Look at them. This one's in a pot, but they come out of the pot and they like fly around. There's some Venus flytraps and some plants from the dinosaur land. There's an alligator over here. Look at the alligator. The mod that these alligators are from, they have secret names. One of the secret names for the alligator is King K. Rool, and it gives it a little crown. There's a big fucking frog over here. A warped toad, and if you name it Pepe, it gives it a suit. I just love the stupid fucking crocodile. Or alligator. No, it is a crocodile, that's right. It's very loud. I like it a lot. There's a whole bunch of junk. Wow. Melon. 3 to the power of 9 melon. Right? Because can you craft melon blocks back into melons? I don't think you can. I'm just going through someone else's base now. I'm perusing. They're really slow farms. They're really slow super smelter. I don't know why they super smelt. They built that without knowledge of you can use the burners. You can use a fan connected to... You can use a fan pushing hot air to smelt stuff, so you don't need a super smelter. I don't think they knew that, though. I'm just doing a tour now, because I don't really know what to do on the server. Oh yeah, this is a hologram of me. Block of raw zinc. Ooh, actually, zinc is very useful. I'll take that. Interesting. Oh yeah, I forgot about the beholders. You can set up beholders. And what they do... They're basically just security cameras. If you go on them... Hold on. This is the security camera of this room. Basically, they put you into the view of one of the beholders. Like, look, that's me down there. It's just like a spooky camera. The only caveat is that the area has to be loaded for it to work. So, like, this is a beholder that they put in my base. And it's not gonna work. Because it's unloaded. Open crate. I don't need this. Oh yeah, I forgot I put this here. It's been a long time. It's been like a month or two since they've been on, so I just decided to fuck with them. Put a smiley face with nether star blocks. Look at these nether star blocks. They look so cool. Here, have an open crate. I don't really care. I want to take this stupid fucking hat off. The ooofying hat. It's very funny, but it's a novelty. Let me put that back as well. I'll keep the Illuminati pet on me because it's funny. Should I just do inventory management? Honestly, I think I probably should. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Whatever, I'll just warp to my home. Perfect. Quartz. D. You put some wax on that. This shit's so addicting. I gotta be honest. This Illuminati pet stuff is so addicting. I don't put the raw zinc in there. This is my valuables chest, but I also have a create chest. Create mod chest. Vanilla, obviously. This is miscellaneous. This is a bunch of obituaries from the gravestone mod. This is someone else's obituary. I think that's the only one of someone else. Look at my Y coordinate, 227. This is from me flying into the void using the magnetic force field. I have a bunch of obituaries because I think it's funny to keep them. There's a bunch of Pokeballs with a whole bunch of random shit in them. Oh, I have a toad. I didn't realize I had one. I have a bunch of well, I had a bunch of dinosaurs, but I think I only have 2 now. That sucks. Oh yeah, gum peepers. They're creepers, but they don't blow up. Instead, they just throw gumballs at you, and they're shaped like a gumball dispenser. Riveted loco metal. I do not care. And then, oh yeah, and these are all inventory pets that I've gathered. These are all the ones that I don't use. Because honestly, there's only a select few that are actually useful. I had all these iron chests because I was doing, inventory sorting. My base is a mess as always. I always just straight up don't make a base. It's kind of funny. I always just live in a hole in the ground. This server is probably going to be down. This server is almost never up. Hold on. Maybe. Unless it crashes immediately, which there's always a chance. This isn't going to show up on Steam, right? Yeah, I'm just going on, going onto the server. It says joining world, but it might just crash as soon as I join. This is a good opportunity for me to go. Oh, never mind. Hold on. I'm holding. I was gonna say I needed to go pee because I do really badly. I'm gonna pee my pants. But, I don't know why there's a border of yellow around my full screen. It's really weird. Please, load. It said I've actually joined client. On the server side, it says I've joined. Oh, hello. I was just about to take a piss.
No.
I was gonna go
You're
pee.
not allowed to.
And yeah,
pee.
as I thought, the server crashed. The server's very sensitive.
Oh,
It should have it should auto restart, but it hasn't in the past. I was doing a modded server on Minecraft.
Sweet. I just got here. I knew you were streaming, but I was with someone else, and we were just hanging out.
Fair enough.
But then they left.
Ned Flanders.
Just like everyone else.
Ned
What?
Flanders. Huh.
Oh my god, did you see they had Ned Flanders in Hell of a Boss? Oh my god.
Why would I see that?
I don't know. But they literally added a character who looks and behaves like Ned Flanders.
Why?
Who has a crush on Luna? I don't know.
Why would
The
they
only
do
good
that?
thing about that episode is that they made a reference to King of the Hill. It's
Oh,
awesome,
wait,
but
I think-
nobody's gonna get it.
I think I saw it on my timeline because someone was making fun of Hulu Boss Hands for not getting a reference. And it was a reference to
Sand.
Pocket Sand. Yeah, okay.
I love Pocket Sand. Pocket Sand. I wish I could do a really good Dale impression. Pocket Sand.
Do you use Pocket Sand?
I'm gonna try and implement it. I just made it to season 11. I've been watching King of the Hill for 3 weeks straight.
Jeez.
Hell yeah. No, it's so good.
Jeez. Oof.
It's so good. It's so
Yeah, I know. I tried watching it for the first. I tried watching it, and I got to episode 4 or 5 with the the story where Bobby Hill joins like the Indians, like the Indian camp or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and I just kind of got bored.
Yeah.
That episode's probably just kind of boring, but as far as I know, it's a really good show.
I know.
As far as I know, Bob's Burgers is also a really good show. I don't know.
Bob's Burgers is really good.
And I've heard that American Dad is like really fucking good as well. I just don't have the time and energy to put into those
Watch a
really
TV
fucking
show.
long, not just TV shows, those really fucking long spanning ones.
Oh, true. What was I gonna say?
Alarm.
Did he go to pee?
Oh yeah, I should probably do that.
Oh, like, no!
Goodbye.
No, you're not allowed to.
Goodbye forever.
No!
Goodbye.
No! Don't pee. Don't pee.
Gah. Wait, no, that doesn't... Damn, I think it broke. Whatever. Gulp.
Dude, that was quick.
My pee was like really yellow, and I could have sworn that I've drinking way too much water today, but so I don't know what that's about.
I have the perfect remedy for this.
15 beers.
True. Let's say, I feel like after about season 4, there are some episodes that just have really weird conclusions to them after the climax. Or it's like
King of the Hill?
too short. Yeah, King of the Hill. Like some of the episodes just kind of end sometimes, and it feels like it was a lot of plot for nothing. Like literally nothing. I feel like some episodes leave a lot to be answered.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Oh, you're David High. Oh, that's what you meant by that. Okay. Right, yeah.
Yeah, you should also drink 15 beers. I also recommend drinking 15 beers. I've drinking 10 Dr. Peppers today. That's a new record for me.
It's so extremely unhealthy. Oh my god.
Wait, let me count.
Jesus.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Count the
6, 7.
How much sugar is in a can of Dr. Pepper?
I don't know. I lied. I'm on my 8th for today.
Wow, that was such a big lie.
Number 9 after that. Yeah, it was good.
It's not. No. No.
Wait, maybe I'm lying again.
Nothing is.
Maybe I'm on my 5th. No, 4th. I can't remember. There's just a tower of Dr. Pepper cans on my desk. I don't know.
Any more than like 2 is insane to me.
Oh, maybe you just don't like Dr. Pepper.
It's not about the Dr. Pepper. It's about it being an extremely sugar-intensive, unhealthy soda. It's not just about the...
Okay, if you drink a Dr. Pepper at 10 and 2 and 4, you live to like 150, so guess how long I'm living?
No, you don't. No,
Yeah,
you don't.
yeah, that's literally how it works.
I want to know how much sugar is in one of those cans. How much
Actually, let me look.
above your daily recommended have you had in sugar?
Total sugar's 39 grams.
Holy shit. Oh, what is the serving size?
Um, 1 can.
Okay. 39 grams? And you've had
Um,
like 5?
it includes 39 grams of added sugars, which is 78% of your daily value.
Holy shit.
40 grams of carbohydrates, including those previous 39
Oh, hey,
grams
the
of
server
real
started.
sugars. No, you're okay. Which is 14% of your daily value.
Oh my.
And here we go. I have 3 towers of 4 cans, and I'm about to open a new can.
That's
Just get that on the mic.
insane.
Let me just get that on the mic. Hold on. Let me see if I can open it. There's too much
I cannot
water.
imagine drinking that much soda.
It's so good. I don't know what you're talking about.
Even 1 can of soda a day is really bad for your health.
But it just tastes so good.
Do
It
you
just
have
tastes-
diabetes?
No.
Okay.
My grandma did. Freaking nerd.
You will probably get it. You will probably
Yeah.
get type 2.
Oh, type 2?
Yeah, because type 1 is,
Okay, which one?
genetic, I think.
I have a number pad and I have the numbers over the keyboard.
I was working on a factory.
Is that the create mod? That looks so fucking cool.
Yeah, it is the create mod. Oh, this is almost fully the create mod, including the blocks, actually, I just realized.
Hell yeah.
But this is like a big silo with a bunch of the resources that I needed for my factory. I was trying to make a supreme pizza factory. And this is like a big silo with all the resources that I need for it. And it's like automatic
So cool.
harvesters. I don't really know what I'm doing, honestly. I'm kind of just
It's got
bullshitting my way through
You
it.
could think of it as like an auger, kind of. Like it's got, I don't know, it's a silo with an auger in it, and it like moves the grain around.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very accurate because silos are for storage, but I just figured the cylindrical design makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it's so practical and efficient.
This is the best way that I was thinking to do it. Oh yeah, I'm a snail now, by the way.
Why are you a snail?
Because look at me, I'm a snail. I'm from Snail Simulator, you know, hit game.
But you're Stuart. I don't get it.
I'm snail. I was a pigeon. Did you just fully accepted the
No.
pigeon, but not the snail?
I want Stuart.
Yeah, I'd have to make like new assets for it, and I don't want to because I'm lazy.
I want I want Stuart.
I was testing a bunch of auto crafting designs. This one, I think this is probably my favorite design. It's a auto milker and auto waterer. And it just gives me infinite milk and water, and it's really fun looking. Hold on, let me do an empty bucket.
I'm waiting
Okay.
for the condensation to go away on this can of Dr. Pepper.
So what happens, these arms milk the cow, and then the milk bucket goes down into this. The milk falls down into the drain and goes up into the fluid tank. And then it goes onto this ejector and shoots all the way up into this funnel to go back into the hand when it's empty. So it milks a cow, empties the bucket, and then flings it back into the hand to milk the cow again. And it looks really
so
cool.
Awesome.
It looks really cool, and it's fully practical.
Where's the milk go?
The milk goes down this
in
tube into the containers.
That's awesome.
Because I need water and milk for the factory that I was making. The silos probably won't be this big. This is the max height for the silos. I just want as much milk and like water as I could, because I like watching this thing run. This is at max speed, and it would probably not be at max speed in the actual factory, because the max speed is really hard to achieve without like fucking stuff up. I've been making all these designs, and I still don't know what the best way to get power is in the create mod. I think it's windmills, maybe.
I guess.
There's a bunch of other shit that you can do. You can have like a nuclear reactor. I don't know how that works.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I have tits, by the way. Forgot about that.
Why? That's gross. That's... Hold on. That's gross.
What's gross about it? Do you not like tits?
No, I'm fine with those.
That's what I thought.
You know, if I go to the hospital because of this Dr. Pepper, at least I'll know what to do.
You would see Dr. Pepper.
No. What? No. Like, I'm, like...
When you go to the hospital, you'll see Dr. Pepper.
Okay, well, yeah, I get it. Whatever. I was gonna say something else, but now I realize you're gonna make fun of me for it, so now I don't want to say it.
Well, is it a Dr. Pepper related pun?
No, it's not really a pun. It's just sensitive information.
Oh.
I don't know why I was gonna say it. It's stupid of me.
Oh yeah, I have a gun. Forgot about that.
That's scary.
This is the best gun in the game.
That's scary.
Hold on, let me find a whale. It doesn't do as much damage to the whales because it's underwater, but get back here. And the whale is dead. Whales have so much health too. I like the copycat blocks. They're really useful. Oh yeah, I made this spinning log.
Awesome.
You know those, when it's like two people on a log in a river and they're trying to stay on? Yeah. Those competitions? You could do that.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to emulate. With this log.
That's so awesome.
I don't think it would work that well. You could like try to punch people off or something, I don't know. I was just kind of bored and fucking around with stuff. Made a big tree. This is me testing out my 9 spawner mob spawner. This is like a bajillion different modded blocks from all the different stuff. I need to go to Candyland. Candyland is one of my favorite parts of this mod pack.
What's Candyland?
Try to guess what Candyland is.
They have candy there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, imagine Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, that Candyland area, but it's like freaking awesome and cool.
Hell yeah.
And not lame. Hold on, it's far away, so it'll take a while for me to get there. I don't know why my waypoint's turned off. I have a waypoint to Candy Cavity, which is what it's called in the actual game. I got another compressed melon.
Awesome.
I love my 5 to the power of 9 melon. Wow. I love my Air Jordans. Okay, I don't remember the way to get there. I think it's like down here? It's in a tunnel system that we haven't used in a while. Like an abandoned mine shaft, basically. It's down here, I think. Hold on, let me open my ender chest. Get the magma cube pet and the force field out.
I don't feel good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Shit. The force field is very unpredictable. It's a force field.
Is there anyone in chat? There might not be anyone in chat.
There isn't. There usually isn't. There's an
That
ad
makes me
starting
sad.
though.
Awesome.
God damn it. Yeah. Please. Let me up onto the bridge again. Thank you. I love my Air Jordans. Yeah.
That was a bad one.
That was an even worse one. You're really forcing them. Candy caveat this way. I'm trying to use the force field to go quicker in tunnels. It's not really working. Got a thick jungle fence. Crazy. Okay, it kind of works. Oh, it definitely works. I have the magma cube pet, so I don't have to worry about the lava. I don't think I needed it. Okay. Here's the candy cavity portal. Let me preemptively...
I'm getting an ad for some kind of Heinz sauce you put on shrimp. Heinz flavor tour sweet Thai-inspired sweet chili.
Interesting.
They're making like they're making ethnic food sauce. Taco Bell new spicy chicken burrito thing.
Why are you advertising? I don't... I was gonna say I'm not getting paid for these ads, but I technically am.
You get paid every time you say eat it, Red Lobster.
Yeah, I get like a check in the mail every time. I got an andesite door.
You get a
Ooh, actually that looks
PayPal
really
notification
cool.
every time you say I want my baby back ribs.
I forgot about that.
I remembered that.
I'm waiting for the ads to end. How long is do you have on ads?
Oh, the ads ended.
Oh, okay. Let me put on the bat backpack because it lets me see in the dark, and it's usually very dark. Alright, it's time. It's Candyland time. This is my favorite part of this entire mod pack. It's Candyland.
No way.
It's actually fucking Candyland. And there's
I'm hungry
there's
for candy.
unicorns, candy corns, there's gum beepers, they're creepers but they throw gumballs at you. There's a gingerbread houses with gingerbread men and they steal food from you and it's kind of fucked up.
Awesome.
Look at the gingerbread village. Look at the gingerbread down
Oh
there.
my god. There's gingerbread things.
There's gingerbread men.
Gingerbread.
Hold on, let me get my Air Jordans on. Oh yeah. All of these, everything you see in the candy cavity is fully edible. Every single block in this biome is edible. The floor is made out of chocolate. There's rock candy roads. There's ice cream sticking out of the ceiling. There's soda bottles that have like purple soda in them. Chocolate bars. There's fucking donuts. There's this Lickowitch outpost or whatever. It's kind of cool. It's made out of liquor root. Ooh, there's some soda. There's some soda here. There's some Swedish fish in it. Hold on.
Awesome.
Look at these Swedish fish.
No way.
Look at them go. And the soda fizzes really loudly. There's some gummy
No
rings.
way.
The cake layers. There's cookies sticking out of the walls. Don't mind the lava. There's these sugar glass bottles. I really like the candy corns. They're unicorns made out of candy. Oh, here's a gum beeper. He throws gumballs at me.
It's so rude.
Go away. I like my big stupid hammer. Oh. Slay a gum beeper before it explodes. I guess I hadn't done that before. Oh god, it's a caniac. Oh god. These guys do a lot of damage. They're fucking terrifying. Go away. Luckily I have thigh highs that negate fall damage.
Awesome.
Oh shit. It exploded in a bunch of gumballs.
Know about your awesome, I think it's just a resource pack. No.
Homercraft?
Yeah, Homercraft. Do they know about Homercraft?
Yeah, probably. I'd assume
awesome.
so. Actually, most of them probably don't. Oh my god, it's a caramel cube. It's a slime, but it's made out of caramel. Oh god. Caniac.
Awesome.
I'm gonna die.
Awesome.
Look, they drop salted caramel. Like I said, you can eat everything here. Hold on, I don't even need my food. I'm eating the floor.
Awesome.
I can eat the caramel. There's another gum beeper. You're pissing me off. There's these gum drops. And you can make shoes out of them like this. And they make every block you step on act like a slime block. And then I also put double jump on it. So when I jump, when I bounce, I jump again.
Awesome.
And I can just get like a shit ton of height. Look at how beautiful this place is. This place is so pretty. Oh, I like that jawbreaker. What?
Don't you wish you were made out of candy?
I do. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, when you bounce with the gumdrop, you create rainbows behind you. And then gumdrops can actually create rainbows between each other as well.
Awesome.
I love all the ice cream. I love this place so much. I might be a fat ass, but this place is the coolest place. This is the coolest thing about this mod. Oh yeah, there's gummy bears. Hold on. Look, it's a gummy bear. It's just a bear, but it's like gummy. I like the cherries on top of the ice cream. And these peppermints. There's a radiation cave. There's a dinosaur cave. The dinosaur cave is fun. There's a magnet cave. It's kind of boring, but I got this magnetic force field out of it.
Awesome.
There's this candy cave. There's a couple others that I'm forgetting that I just don't really care about. It's mainly the cavity, and it's the candy land, and it's the dinosaur land that are the two cool ones that actually have stuff in them. I'm pretty sure you can make Godzilla. I'm pretty sure Godzilla exists. I don't know how you get it, but I'm pretty sure it's the thing you can do. Oh, here's a Lico Witch. They'll create, oh god, yeah, these. They'll create, like, manifestations of other mobs to fight for you, to fight for them.
That's scary.
These guys are fucked. But they drop, like, rainbow essence. That's really cool. I don't know what you do with it, but it just kind of looks cool. There's not much utility to this place except for it looking cool. And the shoes. The shoes are cool. My Air Jordans. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry I could eat everything.
I'm so hungry I could eat
I'm so hungry I could eat food.
I'm
Can you make a caramel block? No, I think caramel's just useless. Oh, no. You can make a caramel apple. You can make a sundae. Ooh. Ooh. That's cool. I don't think you can make... Can you make ice cream? I don't think you can.
so hungry that I could eat a horse.
That your could eat a horse?
I could.
Ooh. This bin kind of matches this area. Oh yeah, the lollipop bunch. The rock candy the rock candy blocks are really pretty.
Awesome.
I know, right?
Candy.
Candy.
Sometimes I wish candy was real.
Yeah, imagine. It's actually just a lie that companies make up to make money.
It's just the lie that money makes up.
To make companies. Ow.
True.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh god. Oh no. Everything's fine,
Oh, no.
actually. I'm fine. I'll just eat a bacon sandwich and I'll be fine. That was the wrong block. Let me out.
Holy pepper.
Why is there a candy? Why is there a gingerbread village in this cave system? Diamonds. I don't need diamonds. I have like a bajillion diamonds. Oh yeah, the wood from the dinosaur land looks really fucking pretty.
Awesome.
I should not be going through this cave. This is making me nervous. I'm seeing a lot of diamonds. Okay, I'm gonna leave now.
No. Oh, leave the... Oh.
I can leave the call if you want as well.
No.
If that's really what you want. Okay, I guess you're kind of forcing my hand here.
No. Don't go.
Look at my mob spawner. It has 4 zombie, 5 skeleton spawners in it. And it was a pain in the ass to bring them there.
Awesome.
And it does it automatically. And it gives me things.
Awesome.
I'm gonna go over to B and Liz's base.
To what?
To someone else's base.
Awesome.
They're
Don't blow
the
it up though.
they're the
They might
owners
think
of the
that's neat.
server.
Awesome.
Oh shit. And the server
Don't
kind of
blow it up, by
sucks
the way.
because they host it. They personally host it on their own servers. So it kind of sucks ass, but it's kind of funny. So
True.
wait, my compressed gravel times 6. I really like this. It's like an XP duper. And I think it's really cool, the mechanism that he uses. But yeah, where the fuck is their big ship? Their big fuck ship. I don't know. Usually it's right here. I don't know what it has.
Big fuck. Fuck.
It's like a really pretty looking ship. I don't know where it went.
It's like a really big fuck.
Fuck. Yeah. I made this together, pew and wood.
Awesome.
And I made it at their base, because I felt like it. It's not like they've played in like a million years. Oh, these two skeletons are fighting each other.
Awesome.
This one kind of sucks. What the hell? They've missed every shot.
You should hurt them.
I'm making them hurt each other.
Awesome.
Watch this shit. The zombie's definitely gonna win. No, don't drop that. Actually, oh my god, the skeleton won. Easily. This guy's a champion. I killed the champion.
Awesome.
Here's all the pew and wood that I've gathered. With some pine nuts and a stick and some of the saplings and a burger. Burger.
Awesome.
Wow. It's a burger.
Did you know that burger's awesome?
I did know that.
No way.
Did you know that white small step bin is awesome?
Who's awesome?
White small step bin. It's gonna talk that there.
I don't know what that is.
Egg.
I'm not sure I know what that is.
You're not sure what an egg is?
Oh wait, why are we talking about an egg?
Why are you not talking about an egg?
I don't...
That's what you were talking about before. What do you mean?
Was it? What?
You've been talking about eggs. Did you forget?
You're gaslighting me. When was I talking about eggs?
Just a couple of minutes ago.
What did I say
You
about
said,
eggs?
eggs are so yummy, I love them. Or
Yeah.
something along the lines of that.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
No.
Oh my god, I got a happy cane plushie.
I don't
Look at
think
them.
I said...
Look at them.
look at...
They're so beautiful.
What is that?
I don't know what it is, but it's cute. What is Happy
that?
Cane? What is Happy Cane? Oh, it's a yokai from Yokai Watch.
Who are you?
Oh shit. You figured it out.
What are you doing?
You figured it out.
What are you doing?
I'm not real. I've been a hallucination this whole time.
What are you...
Goodbye
what are you
forever.
What are you doing?
You found my secret. I'm not real. Goodbye.
What are you doing?
I'm fading away. Oh, I'm fading away. Oh. I left. I wasn't real the whole time. Wow. I wanted to make a... I wanted to make the factory... I was thinking like a Willy Wonka, but like enchanted. I don't really know. Because I found a cool enchanted forest that I wanted to build my base in. My base is just a big fuck factory. I was thinking these blocks are from the, magnet biome. And I think they'd work well. Ow. I think they'd work well. What is this? Why do I have a shulker box of planks? I don't remember what I used that for. Oh yeah, this is me experimenting with the, Tom's Simple Storage mod. Oh yeah, you can technically duplicate blocks using these inventory trims. Not really duplicate, because you're not creating more of the block, you're just creating more of the look of the block. So like if I wanted to, say, duplicate more of these, I would place it down, put the paint kit on it, and then you can paint these blocks to look like the block. But they're not the block. But you can technically make infinite amount of blocks. You can... That's what I did with these. I took one of these compressed nether stars and duplicated it to these. You could do the same with copycat blocks, but copycat blocks actually take the block that you put inside of it. So it's not the same. This is just a spinner. You spin around on it. This is me experimenting with more copycat blocks. This is me trying to make an automatic fish farm. It is an automatic fish farm, but it's not an for some reason, um, it works properly, and it does fish automatically and gives me fish. But it doesn't work with mending. I don't know why. The XP just shows up as XP, and it doesn't actually get put onto the item that this deployer is using, which makes me sad, because I would really like, the main reason why I wanted to make a fish farm is because I needed lily pads for a pet, and I didn't know where any swamps were. And I think this is the only way to get lily pads besides swamps. They should really make those, renewable. Look at the gumdrop, making a rainbow. I don't really have anything interesting to do, I'm gonna be honest. Hold on, I could grab my piece of, I have a page with the layout of what I need to do to make the factory work, and I just drew it on crayon on a printer paper. On a page of printer paper. It's kind of funny. Who's Playboy Cardi fan? Playboy Cardi fan is so mysterious. If I had to guess, if it was someone that I knew, if I had to guess, it would be Chewy. Because Chewy's, that sounds really, I just realized how bad their name sounds. But I think they're, Playboy Cardi Trap. Like Spring Trap, but Playboy Cardi. And that's what they are on Steam. Okay. Um, 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 some cool shit that I can do. My inventory's not prepped for doing cool shit. What the hell was that? Stupid cats are fighting. Hold on. Wrong button. I'm gonna be so fucking mad if they start shit. They fight a lot and it's annoying. I don't know why. It really isn't that often, but they do fight sometimes. And when they do, it sounds like they're dying. I'm bored. I'm gonna switch to hypixel. It's still gonna be Minecraft, but it'll just be hypixel. I have a lot of things that I don't need to be open, and I have them open. I could play other games as well. That's a thing that I could do. Herm. What the hell's another game? I don't know. I don't think those exist. Okay. Let me load up my a different version of Minecraft. Whoa. Why is there there's a loading cutscene on... Whoa, they upgraded the Minecraft launcher since the last time I used it. I have not played normal Minecraft in a long time. Oh yeah, the new preview looks fucking crazy. I'm so excited. Copper golems and shit. I didn't look that close into it. After I end stream, I'll probably watch the Exuma Void video. That's usually what I do when a big update comes out and I feel too lazy to read the changelog. I'll usually just watch that. Why did... Oh, I didn't pause the music. It ended. I just realized, wait, the music's over. The music's been over for a while. Um, Let me just turn on... I'll just do Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is like my default. I listen to the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe soundtrack all the time off stream as well. Not that one. Sure. It's kind of a banger. Alright, oh, that's the capture. No, it's not the capture. Why does it look like that? I thought I had it stretching to the screen. It is stretching to the screen. I don't know why it looks like that. Why is it doing that? Whatever. I don't think I'm gonna have to be tabbing out. Actually. I'm going to start it here and then turn off the shuffle. And now I will turn off this, turn on game capture, and now it should... Okay. I have Homercraft on. I don't know how I didn't realize Homercraft was off. It was still on. I do now own Homercraft on. Sorry, but I'm not playing Hypixel with Homercraft. They're always having some kind of sale. This one's the summer sale. I'll do a little bit of Disasters. Disasters is fun. Ugh, hold on, let me adjust. Let me lock in. If you're watching the sound on Potato Head, you can join if you want. Actually, I'll probably join back. I'll probably join the call again. What the fuck? Dragons? Are you kidding me? Also, I forgot how loud this was. Okay, well, dragons, I guess. Hostile creatures, turn that down. That's better. Okay. Ow. Stop it. This guy's being mean. For no reason. Oh, well, I don't even care. that round sucked anyways. That's so unlucky. I'm gonna join back in the call. Lock in. Oh yeah, this is Cruise Ship. This is one of the newer maps. I've only played this map a couple times, and I don't really know how it works. Is my sensitivity off? Is that why it feels weird? Hello.
Oh my god, I just messaged you to join back in the Discord.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I did just join back in the Discord.
You said it as soon as I sent the message, so there's no way you saw it.
That's hilarious. I did not see it, I just saw it. God damn it. No jumping is a bad one. Depending on if you get stuck. Lightning is really loud. Hold on, let me turn that down. Whatever. I guess that's 2%. You should join. Oh, muted. Whatever.
What, is it Minecraft?
It's Hypixel.
Okay, but I'll have to... What version?
Any? It's Hypixel. Do you know Hypixel?
I am going to be real with you. I don't think I've played on Hypixel in, like, actually maybe 5 years.
Huh. Well, I'm playing one
Probably
of the
longer.
games that you definitely haven't played since this came out like a couple months ago.
Okay. I'm gonna have to rejoin on my phone because my laptop is shit and it can't handle Minecraft and Discord at the same time.
Damn.
So it might be worse audio.
Whatever. Blind is really bad. I think blind is a new one that they added.
Hello?
Hello.
Well, okay.
Wait, sure.
Join the hype.
Oh god. Okay, wow. Ugh. I have to find a place. I have to find ladders. Ladders are a good way to prevent the lava. Oh, the lava's over. Okay. Lightning is a oh, jeez. Oh god, I almost just died of fall damage. I'm just gonna hide here.
Oh my god, did you see the new update? The stuff they announced?
Yeah, with the copper golem.
Copper
and the copper golem.
armor!
I have not looked
Dude,
too far into it. I didn't read the changelog fully, but it looks
I
so
haven't-
fucking
I haven't-
awesome.
I really haven't touched it. I've just seen the armor trims, which are peak, or copper with armor trims is peak, I should say.
Oh my
Which-
god, I almost
Armor trims are actually my favorite part of Minecraft.
really. Armor trims are
Like-
really cool.
Basically, whenever I play survival, I just collect armor trims.
I haven't really touched armor trims that much, honestly. I probably should. I don't really mess with them that much. I really like this map. The castle map. This map's fun. It's very cramped.
Also, lava chicken got added.
Yes. Oh, that wasn't in a snapshot. That was an update. That's
Yeah,
out
I know.
now. Fucking,
Because
it makes me so mad. It's
I
the
don't know.
only,
It's kind of
it's the only time that I've ever felt, like a jump the shark moment from Minecraft. Where, like, it's just gotten too big for its own good. And that one thing is just I cannot.
I guess.
I
Can you hear
can't.
me mixing my drink?
I can. It's very funny.
Okay. I had a not great day, so I'm drinking tonight. But the only stuff we have Jack Daniels. It tastes like shit. So I'm mixing it, and it keeps on not being sweet enough. So I keep on adding more sweetness.
But Jack Daniels, the whiskey?
Yes.
And you're just like adding a bunch of sugar to Jack Daniels?
I watered it down, then I added some fruit juice, or some lemon and lime juice, and now I'm adding agave syrup.
Ah.
Because I guess not unfortunately, but myself included, it's hypixel.net, right?
Yeah. It's actually
We're
a lot
House
of different hypixel domains.
Yeah, we're a house of non-drinkers, so.
Right. Oh god. Floor's lava is a bad one. Is floor lava... Floor's lava... Oh god, it does.
Okay, how do I
Oh god, I'm
join
gonna die.
you? Is your Minecraft's just happy156?
Happy Crafter 156. Oh, I burned to death. It's Happy Crafter 156.
Okay.
I see.
Like,
Slash.
people must have great things.
Oh, you could go in the statue? I didn't know that was a thing you could do. Oh, wow, yeah. You can climb up it. That's cool.
So I'm in a park, how do I...
This is gonna be a very interesting experience for you.
Where are you?
Do you know the
is it like
Roblox
that
Survive? Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, no,
oh, it's that.
it's like that, but infinitely better. This version is so much more fun.
I
'Cause
don't
it's
know,
not
that
Roblox.
was a shitty Roblox game made in 2011. I don't think being better would be that hard.
Yeah, but also it's like a lot better. Oh god, werewolf? Werewolf is a bad one.
In what way?
Werewolf, their name tag will show up. And it'll be red. And their whole goal is just to kill people. That's their whole thing.
Oh no, the meter count is decreasing. Between meter
Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna turn lightning sounds completely off. I can still hear
Can
the
you hear my
explosion.
game?
Through your microphone? No.
Okay.
Where are you?
What?
I'm looking for you. I found you. I see you. I'm coming over.
Oh.
Oh god, sinkhole. Oh, and grounded.
I don't know. My vision's bad and my monitor is small.
Fair enough.
See, I'm hoping, I'm planning. I have money saved to buy a laptop, but I'm waiting for Prime Day because I want to get a deal.
Ooh, right.
So
Prime Day is like the 11th or 12th, right?
yeah, it's the 11th.
Okay.
Oh, jumping is disabled. That explains why I can't jump.
Yeah, it's grounded. It disables jump for a while. I'm assuming the sinkhole is...
Oh, I see the werewolf.
Do you see the sinkhole? Oh my god, I see the sinkhole. I gotta get out of here.
I do too. I'm, well... Fuck.
Oh, you fell.
It just put me in spectator mode. So I can fly through walls and shit.
It does, I think.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it just puts you in fly? Oh god. Zombie apocalypse. Oh, an acid anvil rain. Fuck. Okay, hold on. And I have not seen the werewolf, which honestly scares me.
Hey, I'm spectating you. The werewolf was, when I died, was in the middle near the
God.
sinkhole.
It tells me where the werewolf is in relation to me. And I can
Yeah.
see their name tag, and they are coming straight for me. And that makes me very nervous. I'm crouching, so they shouldn't be able to see my name tag.
I was spectating you. Where did you go? Oh, I see.
Fuck. Oh, fuck.
Oh.
The lightning is really bad.
Oh, there are chests. Can you get, like, armor and stuff? Or is it, like...
There is armor and stuff that drops on the ground if you see that there's feather falling boots over there.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But, the chests are useless. They don't do anything.
Lame.
Oh my god.
You should not do that.
I missed my fucking speed. I missed my speed potion. Oh. The werewolf just got killed by the sinkhole. And I win. The werewolf dying by the sinkhole is hilarious. Look at the map. You gotta say GG because you get your 15 karma.
Oh my god, my throat. Anyway, in case you were wondering, my watered down alcohol is sweet enough to stomach now.
Fun. I know people just chug Jack Daniels. I don't understand it.
I don't fucking know. I can only drink fruity drinks. Or
Your skin
very
is
low
on wrong.
alcohol drinks.
That's like my biggest Minecraft pet peeve is when people have their skins on wrong and you have your skin on wrong.
What do you mean? In what way?
You're using the, wide model. You're using a wide mile player model when your skin is made her slim. You know how the,
No,
Alex
okay, I
and
get what you're
Steve
saying.
looks
I remember what
different?
it was. Last time I played, I was playing with a cosmetic mod that let you toggle between.
Oh, right, yeah. Does that not work with, wide and slim models?
You have to, like, I meant, like, in-game.
Yeah, I know what mod you're talking about.
Yeah. No, the point is, so I don't have my, like, skin set to the correct model because it didn't matter.
Right. Yeah, swappage is a really bad one.
But
Swappage, you just swap around randomly. You'll get swapped with random people.
that happened to me earlier, but it actually kind of saved me. Low key.
I know sometimes when swappage happens, people will just be crouching off ledges, waiting for people to run off the map. I'm waiting for Purge so I can smack you off, because it'd be funny. Oh god,
There's a big zombie. Sorry, I needed to turn on toggle sneak. I don't get why people hate on it. It's so good.
I don't use toggle sneak. I forgot that was a thing, but I probably wouldn't use it anyways.
Well, it's because me personally, when I play Minecraft, I spend a lot of time in the nether.
Oh, right, yeah.
Or like doing ancient cities, because that's my favorite thing in the
Ooh,
game.
God,
I'll just do ancient
I've
cities.
only done Ancient City once, and it's fucking terrifying.
It is, but it's like the most. I think it's the best thing Mojang or Microsoft has added since they took over the game.
It is one of the best things Mojang has done. It's a really cool atmosphere. It's just that I do not do well with horror of any kind.
That's fair. I don't know. Once you do like 6 or 7.
Oh, God. I
It's-
fucked. Oh my God, I'm at half a heart. Lava. Or water bucket, please. Water bucket, save me.
Release.
Oh my God, I'm half a heart gaming. Oh my God, I lived with half a heart.
I live 2.
Make sure to get your Reddit karma.
Yes.
Do you know what karma does?
I have no idea. I've literally. I think the last time I played on Hypixel was during COVID.
Well, karma's been on the server since the beginning of the server, in like 2009.
But even then, I like didn't take it like seriously at all.
Right? Yeah. Karma does nothing. It's just a big joke making fun of Reddit. But it tells you that you gain 15 karma if you say GG at the end of games.
No, I only gained 5. You gain more because of VIP Plus, I bet.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious that you gain more useless karma. That's awesome.
Happy, how much Reddit karma do you have?
On actual Reddit or
Yeah.
like 50,000, I think.
Damn, you have maybe. I have 36.
Damn. I know.
It's-
I did a
so
whole
weird.
thing.
I feel like you're bound to get karma if you just post and comment a lot. So like, it doesn't even really matter.
Yeah, I mean, I was karma farming for a little bit because there was this stupid fucking Reddit, and I would just post stolen memes, and I got karma, and it made me feel good.
I mean, that's what
because people
everyone
would
does.
reply sometimes. Sometimes
Do you know
people would reply.
Ghislaine Maxwell, like from Jeffrey Epstein,
Oh yeah.
was the first Redditor to get 1 million karma.
Really?
Oh, Acid Rain.
That's hilarious.
I see.
Oh yeah, watch out for the acid rain. It'll acid away blocks. So when acid rain, anything rain related, you should probably stay on the lower levels.
Oh yeah.
I locked myself into the crane. So as soon as one of the blocks above me gets acided away, I'm kind of screwed.
That's actually hilarious.
I'm just
Okay,
on the crane.
I have a jump boost potion.
Ooh, those are good. Half health? Oh my God, and I'm on the crane. And there's a tornado.
I was at 3 out of 10 to begin with. Now I'm at 3 out of 5. That doesn't really affect me.
Yeah, that actually benefited you.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're already at 5 health. It would literally do nothing.
I mean, no, it would give you an advantage compared to other players.
It would, yeah, you're right. Oh God, I see the tornado down there.
It literally just went through the building I'm in, but I dodged it. Desperately.
Skill.
I stole the gold boots from someone.
Oh
Or
my
is that
God,
someone
someone's
else?
up here in the crane. Oh, they got a helmet. Oh, they got a helmet.
This game is fun, but maybe it's just a disaster. Now that I like know, it's not that hard. I don't think.
It's not. There's some that are like almost impossible.
Is there a volcano?
No,
That
but
was my
there's
favorite
dragons.
Roblox.
And I died. A dragon spawned in the place that I was, and I just kind of fell. I could have lived, but I was typing. Where are you? I'm looking for you. I see you.
I'm in, I think, a central building. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've literally
you
just
are
been
in one of the
camping here.
central buildings.
I think it's a good spot. But here's the question.
You
I
do
was
drown.
curious if the water protects me from acid rain. Clearly not.
And also you can drown. So, just letting you know.
Yeah, but I wasn't. Anyway.
I tested that, and I drowned to death, so.
Well, it was only like 2 seconds and I got damaged. It was only after I went out from under the structure, so
Yeah.
I assumed, but I guess it doesn't. Probably just checks if there's.
I think this person's AFK. I think they're just gonna die from the acid rain. With 8 seconds left, that sucks so bad. Be very careful. Have a heart. It's crazy. I need my Reddit karma. I love how crazy these maps can get.
Yeah. Wait. Actually, I need to. I'm gonna plug in my phone.
Alright.
I don't know why I announced that to you.
You have fun. Good luck.
Well, no. I'm gonna plug it into my computer.
Oh,
If I
okay.
get pushing on my core.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
It's a prestige to go into the crane first. As you can see, there's a bunch of people that always go for it. Okay, well,
There's
Wither
only
spawned on the
one-
staircase.
There's like only one map or something.
No, there's 5 or 6 now. There used to
Do we
only
just-
be 2 maps.
We just keep getting the same one.
Yeah. This is a very new game mode. I got so lucky that I didn't die there, oh my god. I got so lucky. There's a fucking helmet out there and I need to get it. I need it. Oh my god, I have to do a Neo. I don't think I can get that.
I wish I could like easily tell where the fucking Wither is.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they'll just appear sometimes.
Oh,
Oh, I heard it through your microphone. Oh god, I hear them.
I feel like this is maybe one of the worst possible combinations.
Yeah, it is really bad.
See, I said I think I'm. Nope, half a heart.
I'm at 2. I'm so scared. The darkness.
Oh. I just saw a Wither skull.
I hear them right next to me and it's making me very anxious.
Oh, that's one. Never mind.
Oh,
I like walked right into one then.
you lived. You're just too good.
Well, I keep bouncing in between them. Like, I'm kind of trapped in between two.
Oh, acid rain. Oh, and
This fucking
swappage.
sucks.
One of the worst ones is the purge. I hate the purge.
I didn't
got
even
swapped.
realize I
to-
died.
Oh, you died? Oh, damn.
I didn't even realize, because, like,
Did
I
you?
don't know, I
Did
didn't.
Did you see where I just got swapped to? I got swapped to the top of the fucking Ferris wheel.
Well, I'm here with you right now, so.
You see the Ferris wheel up there? I got swapped to there.
Crazy.
Oh god. Oh, actually, I was right next to the sinkhole. I think that guy might be fucked.
I would go to the bottom floor, then try. Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, it was almost over.
Oh! Oh my god, boat!
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Boat. I think they added Boat recently. I haven't
Well, I
played
mean,
this
there's
game
one
mode
right
in
by
like
where
a
you
month.
were.
Yeah, I haven't seen Boat yet. I need to get a boat. I don't know what that would do. Actually, there's multiple maps now that include water heavily. This is one of them. It's like a big water thing. Okay, I'm getting far away
Why
from
do we
people.
keep getting this same damn map?
I think we haven't gotten cruise ship since you joined. Cruise ship is a pretty good map. Stay away from the people with the hot potato. Just because once
How do
that
you know who
goes,
has the hot potato? Oh, the names.
yeah.
Do their names appear in a different color or something?
I think they turn a different color once they I think they'll turn like orange. I don't really remember though. You see the hot potato right above your hot bar. You see the person who has it. Oh, I thought that was you
Their
that
name
died.
is orange. I saw it. I'm on top of the dome right now.
I'm coming to you. Hello, dome
Hello.
gaming. We should not be on the dome when there's lightning strikes happening.
Well,
Oh god, I hear one. Oh my god, I almost fell off the fucking dome.
This is exactly where the person with the hot potato's gone. Never mind. I was gonna say.
Yeah, they blew
this
up.
This is where the person with the hot potato wouldn't be.
True. Yeah, but also, if you hear the ticking sounds, that means that there's a lightning strike about to hit you.
I fell.
Oh, yeah. Being on the dome is not a very good idea. I should not have followed you onto the dome. I need to get off the dome. Boat! I need that. I don't know what it does. It's just a boat, I guess. Oh.
What a thought.
It just... Okay. Does it even move? It does move. Oh, I'm gonna get struck by lightning. Ow. Oh. Boats negate fall damage in the normal game, but I guess they don't negate damage in this.
They don't at certain block intervals, like
yeah, I've
block
seen
sections.
that.
So
I think it was Cupfan that discovered that. Fucking weird, but that only happens at like really high intervals.
Again, I think it's 42 blocks is where.
There's a bunch of different intervals, but it only starts up higher. I don't think it can start at like 2 blocks, which is where I fell. I fell at like 7 blocks, and I don't think that's one.
This is, what map is this? Is a new map finally. We
played on this map before, but it's the monorail. There's only like 5 maps because this game is very new. I immediately lost you. I don't know where you went. I found you. Oh god, yeah, Floor's lava is a really bad one. The best way to negate fall is... Oh, Floor's lava. Oh god, you killed me. The best way to negate fall...
Floor's lava?
You should go... Water is a good one. If you're in water, it doesn't work. Also, if you go onto a ladder and crouch on a ladder, you also don't get affected by Floor's lava.
Are vibing in water together. How are they at 10 hearts still? Oh, that's right, because 20 is normal max. I see.
Yeah, because it counts. They're at 10 health, but 5 hearts.
Yeah, I realized.
You can stand on a block next to water as well. You can stand on a block next to water, which is very funny. You should do that. You can just stand on these terracotta blocks. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
You can hear me punching you?
Yeah, through your mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, watch out for the zombies. Floor's lava ended. Oh, zombies is squappage. You could get so fucked by that. Oh. Oh, you just walked into lava?
Yep.
Hell yeah. Let's get out of here. Oh, here's a new map. I don't think you've done this map yet. This map is fucking massive. Because it's just a big cruise ship. One of the worst ones on this is Flood. Flood is really bad. Who's there?
Okay, after this one, I'm gonna step away for a sec.
Alright. Acid Rain. Fun one. I don't know if I've ever been on the bottom floor. This is the map that I haven't done really any yet.
I feel like acid rain on the one that's all one massive indoor structure is like kind of fine.
Yeah, because it's just a big cruise ship. As long as you're not on the top levels. Chest plate! Oh, someone stole it. Never mind. Oh my god, it's banana. Oh my god, it's nerd emoji.
How
Oh
do I
my
get down
god,
to the
it's
bottom
another
floor?
it's another nerd emoji. You're on the bottom floor.
Oh,
This is the bottom floor. There's only like 3 floors. Oh, damn. Okay, hold on. Oh, and grounded? Oh, we're so fucked.
no, I see a fountain.
Can you go in it though?
Oh.
Yeah, you can't exactly go into it. Oh, shit. Oh my god. Oh, this is such a bad combo. Oh, I just got myself stuck. I'm dead. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm not dead yet.
I'm
Oh,
on
I
a
died.
ladder.
Okay.
I'm crouching on a ladder.
Oh, you got on a ladder? Hold on.
Mhm.
Alright. Ooh, that's
See,
awesome.
in
You
all
can
it
jump
took-
now as well.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna stay here because I have toggle sneak, so I can just camp on the ladder.
Oh, true.
Hand off the keyboard. Okay, actually,
Can you see me that I'm on fire?
I don't think so.
Okay, because the fire in front of you is big.
Oh, I see the fire. You know, I'm just gonna stay here.
Yeah, there's no
Because
reason
I'm-
for you not to.
Yeah.
I want to look around this map a little more. I haven't really explored this map very much.
Okay, next round I'm gonna step aside, but
Not
really
this
bad.
round?
Well, because I might win.
Oh, true, yeah,
Like,
right.
I don't want something to set. I don't want to walk away then lose at the last minute.
That would suck so bad. Oh, I think it's like a melon themed. Because at the front there's like a big melon. Or no, that's the back.
Haha. Okay. I'll be. Actually, I'm gonna disconnect, but I'll be running the call.
Goodbye. Goodbye
I mean,
forever.
20 seconds.
Oh yeah, also I'm a snail. Oh, they're gone. Wow. Wow. How's my CPU been handling this? Fine enough. I hope it's the purge so I can kill you. Sinkhole. Oh my god, the sinkhole is so loud. Oh, that's why. Why did I do that? Well, watch that. Watch him. Watch him. Now that's funny. I was adjusting my audio settings when I died. That's unfair. Oh my god, is that Wilch? Is that what their name was? Wilch? Awesome name. Nerd 4. Okay. I'm not going for the crane. Look at the horde of people going for the crane. Watch it be acid rain. Watch it be the purge. Watch it be acid rain. Watch it be flood. Oh, flood's also a killer. Let me get out of the ground floor. Hopefully. Maybe. Possibly. Washed? Streamer's washed. Streamer's washed? Oh, I'm dead, aren't I? Get me out of here! I wanna watch them die. I think they've updated a couple of these maps. Where the water? Where is the water? That's a good question. Oh, there the water. Actually, I negated my fall damage on the water. I want the snowballs. Oh, they're gone. And they're dead. 3D movie player? Isn't that the pirating site? It just sounds like a pirating site. I don't know if it is or not. Gulp. It's very low on this map. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Oh, how interesting. Oh, how interesting. Hello. You died and it was very funny. You did not survive.
What?
You drowned immediately.
Oh, my computer screen just went back black. Oh, no, I thought I took... Okay.
You died by a sinkhole, and then I restarted the game, and then you died by drowning.
Oh. Anyways.
Ah! Which...
You know, something happened to my computer. I'm gonna figure this out. Does it still show me it's in the game?
Yeah, you're... Oh, you just disconnected.
Yeah, okay, because I manually turned my laptop off, but my screen went solid black.
Oh, yeah. I'm hanging out with Wilch. Wilch is my new friend. They don't know that they're being live streamed.
You're like one of those IRL streamers.
Yeah. I'm stalking Wilch. Oh. Damn, okay. Since you disconnected and you're still in the party, I can't play another game until you log back in. I could just
That's
kick you from the
hilarious.
party, but I don't
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
fine.
it.
No, you can kick me.
I don't feel like it. I'm hungry. Do I have anything to eat in this goddamn house? Probably not. I don't even have bread to make it like a grilled cheese or something.
That's crazy.
I could just eat plain cheese. That would work.
I thought you lived with your happy family 156.
No. No, not really.
Well, do you not at least have like some happy food 156 you could eat?
No.
Oh, that happy sucks 156.
I have Happy Slop 156. That's my new name. Because that's all I
Happy
do.
Slop is my favorite type of video game.
Some people call me Poopy Crapper 156. And it's kind of funny. But also
I
it hurts my
imagine there are
feelings.
people on Twitter who call cozy games Happy Slop.
Yeah.
Which honestly is like a hilarious term.
The term friend swap makes me want to end it all.
Okay, fuck Microsoft Teams, I don't care.
I
Sorry.
love Microsoft Teams.
I'm too lazy. Normally I just...
You just...
Am I in your party right now?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Hold
Start
on.
a game. Normally I don't, I disable stuff booting on start, and
Yeah.
I had Microsoft Teams uninstalled, but I did a software update and it reinstalled Teams.
Oh, damn. Hold on. I'm opening my free thing. I got 10 mystery
Now-
dust, build battle tokens, or dual tokens. Which one should I take?
Okay, how do I open my free thing?
You go to
I feel like I remember.
delivery man, and then
Oh, that's right.
go to the block in the middle called daily reward. And you have to watch an ad because you don't have a rank. I'm gonna take the build battle tokens.
I'm just gonna mute the site.
Fair enough, yeah.
Honestly.
I got my free mystery dust as well because it's the first of the
Actually,
month.
I don't
Oh
care.
yeah, I'm seeing Weird Al tomorrow. I'm seeing
Oh,
Weird Al in a fucking concert tomorrow, and I'm so fucking
I
excited.
saw he was touring, and I know he's touring in the... I'm not gonna dox you on stream, but I saw he was touring
He is
in the area that I know you live.
He is touring in
Well,
Michigan, yes.
Michigan. I guess you doxed yourself.
Well, I'm going to a venue a couple hours away from my house, so I'm not worried about it.
I mean, I figured, but
it's in the outside of Detroit, so there is.
Oh, I need to.
I think
I know. It's funny. I know so many people from that specific area of the Great Lakes. I know 5 people I met online.
Detroit?
From either Detroit area or Chicago area.
I hate Detroit. I hate Detroit. I hate Detroit. I hate Detroit. I hate Detroit.
There's a guy I know who's from Detroit and whose username is also Detroit. Should start the game.
It pisses me off when I see people are from Michigan and then they're from Detroit, because Detroit isn't real. And it pisses me off.
Okay. It's funny, I stepped on the thing to do the parkour challenge, then I immediately teleported into the lobby.
Oh, rip. Yeah, I can just start the game and force you into it. It's kind of funny. I could force us to play any game right now if I wanted to. You gonna play an hour and a half game of zombies? Oh god.
I
don't know where I am.
This is fine.
I don't know where I am. I know where my spot is with the floor is lava, but I don't know where I am.
Question.
Question.
Is Hunger Games still a thing?
Like UHC? Yeah, UHC is still a thing.
In the big 2-5, that's crazy.
What do you mean? UHC is actually more popular now than it ever has been.
I figured.
Not in hypixel though. In other servers like Hoplite is the biggest one right now. Oh, I burned to death.
I keep on looking for water. Is mainly what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of water everywhere. I actually walked past the water.
Oh, gold boots, nice.
Try to find the normal spot that I go to when it comes to floors lava, but I was on the other side of the map. So.
This is where I was last time too.
Yeah, you can go on the other. You can go on blocks next to it, next to the water.
Okay.
Because it just turns the block under you into obsidian instantly. Ooh, swappage is a good one. That's not who I wanted to spectate. Okay, I'm spectating you now.
Me.
I want to watch you get swappaged. I want to watch you get swapped into the void.
Oh, those vending machines.
Oh wow, Magic was first. The first 2 hours, 15 minutes into the stream. Crazy. I love how no one redeems first ever.
Oh, you meant redeems first. I
Yeah.
thought you meant like was first. I was
No.
like...
The redeem for first. No one ever does it.
I got swapped, then immediately struck by lightning.
I saw that. That was fucking hilarious.
Hello, magic.
Crushed the water bottle in my hand. Okay, let's get out of here. We're on a hypixel if you want to join. We're doing hypixel disasters.
Yes.
This is a very good stream game. Specifically disasters.
I like how quick it is.
Yeah, it's a very quick and snappy game. There's always a lot going on at all times.
Do you play Skyblock?
Yes, I do.
I have not. Look, I'm kind of interested because I love like super grindy games and stuff, but I fear it would suck up my entire life.
It's very fun. I don't really know any of the metas, so I just kind of dick around the whole time.
No, I'm the type of person to like grind and do meta shit.
I am the person to do that as well. I just never ended up. I knew the meta when the game first came out, but then I stopped watching content after like a couple years. And
see, all I'm hearing right now is
it
hope.
came
You being bad at
completely different.
Skyblock.
I mean, it's not Skyblock. It's an MMORPG.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I love MMOs. I've been taking a little break, but before I took a break, I played Final Fantasy 14 and Star Wars: The Old Republic a lot.
You want to know what the greatest MMO of all time is?
What?
Snail Simulator.
I mean, technically, Cookie Clicker is an MMO if you really think about it.
No, but like, Snail Simulator is an MMO. That is what it is. It's not technically, it is an MMO. It's not an RPG though.
Look, I believe you. I have no idea what Snail Simulator is.
It's the greatest fucking game of all time. I love it so goddamn much. As you can tell if you look on my stream, because I am a snail.
I thought you were a bird.
Well, I'm a snail on stream.
Oh.
I was a pigeon.
Yeah, I don't.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Damn it.
I should, for analytics, I should have your stream open, but
You should.
I'm not doing all that.
You can have it open on your phone.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
Do you have a lame, stupid,
I do.
lame phone for babies that are stupid, or do you have a normal
No,
phone?
I have an iPhone.
Okay,
12.
so you have a lame, stupid phone for babies. Got it.
I need a new one. I'm like planning on getting a new one, basically.
Get an Android. I don't care what
Baby.
kind. Androids are like
I thought-
infinitely better.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I try to use my phone as little as possible outside of calling people and texting people. Like,
Yeah.
if I could reasonably get away with it, I would have either a flip phone or no phone entirely.
Ooh, yeah.
So I don't care about features.
You should get a dumb phone. Oh, you should get a dumb phone. I mean,
Let me show you this. I have like a flip phone. I just don't really use it.
yeah.
Because like,
Well, if you don't
it's kind of
care about features, you should still get an Android phone because they're significantly cheaper. They are actually affordable, and even the cheapest of the cheap ones are a lot better than any iPhone you could get. I hate
First of
iPhone.
all,
I hate Apple.
It sounds like you're dick riding. Apple's a hittable indeed. I only have this phone because it like came included with my cellular plan.
Okay, well then, yeah.
I'm like, I
If
pay
you
for
got
my
it-
own
if-
phone bill, but I'm on my family plan,
Oh, okay.
which is like around doing iPhone stuff. So
Where
I don't.
is the werewolf?
Where is me? I don't know. The TLDR is that I don't care enough to change.
Well, yeah, if it's working for you, then keep using it. It would be a waste of money to get a new phone if you're still using your old phone.
Yeah, I mean, I'd only get a new one if I could like trade in, because mainly my screen is getting cracked, and like the charging is getting worse.
Right.
Which I think if I like bought some compressed air and tried to clean out the charging port, that might help, or that would help. But you know, that's like a temporary fix. So, fuck you, baby zombie. Fuck you.
You should just kill it.
Could I guess?
Just murder, murder, kill, kill, murder.
Moida, moida.
Oh yeah, also I've been dead for a while. Oh, and you've been dead for now.
I mean, I was fine until it went immediately black and I couldn't see where I was.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay, I just remembered I have all these channel points because are gambling.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I gave you all of my channel points. That was
Right.
funny. I don't
I
have too
think
much.
I'm gonna. I mean, I only have like 33,700. I'm gonna wait until there's an active shatter, and I'm gonna redeem to time them out.
Hell yeah. How much is the timeout? I think it's 1500.
2,000, I think.
Oh, I thought it was 1500. Oh, it's because the ad
Maybe.
break is 1500.
Yeah.
I should make the ad break cheaper because I like
Wait,
money.
if the ad break is 1,500, I can redeem 2 3-minute ad breaks in a row.
I don't think it would work 3 times right in a row. I think you have to wait like 15 to 30
Anyway,
minutes.
the point is, I'm also a Twitch subscriber, which I think means I don't have to see the ads. On
True,
the
yeah, you
channel.
don't see ads if you're a Twitch subscriber.
So I can redeem an ad break for everyone else that I don't have to deal with. That's hilarious. Honestly.
All of the 1 or 2 other people. I'll get so much money.
Yeah, that's like 4 cents.
Interesting.
Oh.
Interesting. I've got a wither on my ass.
You lured it to me.
You're welcome.
It's your fault.
Do you think I could do a double Neo right now?
No.
Oh my god, I actually fucking did it. I just did a double Neo. Check my stream. I'm the greatest of
on
all
the
time.
stream.
I am the greatest of all time. My viewers went up by 3 when I did that shit. I did a fucking double Neo. I'm the greatest. I can do triple Neos, but I did that with no
Look-
prep time.
Okay. I guess. Are you spectating? Yeah. Look. Yeah, you're dead. Spectate me. Look where I
I'm not
am.
dead.
Oh, I thought you died.
No, I did a double
Anyway,
Neo.
I'm hiding in the water, basically perpetually floating, and I'm hiding under like the lip of the boat.
Oh, that's
And I think
awesome.
this might be the strat.
Oh, you're under the boat?
Not under per se.
But you're in the water, though, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and because the boat is boat shaped, I can hide where part of it extends over me.
That's hilarious.
I just need to hold space.
I can't believe no one was here for my double Neo. That was awesome. Can't believe I did that shit.
I was. I mean, I had your stream open when you did it. I just wasn't looking.
You should have.
I should have psychically known. I agree.
True. Boat. Wait, can I do the boat? Wait, no, the wither broke the boat. I was swimming around in the boat, in the water.
Yeah, honestly, I think this might be the strat, because hot potato probably won't get me.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, the
never
hot
mind.
potato. Oh, how did you even manage to do that?
Meteorite fell directly
Oh.
down on top of me, and it knocked me.
Okay.
It opened a hole, and it knocked me back through the hole, and then I took fall damage. and
Well,
died.
I have a wither on my ass, and I'm very annoyed about it.
I see you.
Actually,
with
for chilling.
You're with Calvin the Goat. I think I used to have Calvin the Goat's exact Minecraft skin as my Minecraft skin.
That's hilarious.
That's,
Well,
'cause
I'm-
it's like one of those like
Calvin's not
cool
the
night or
goat.
whatever.
I'm the goat.
that have like a million billion people have. So
You're right, yeah.
before I was this skin, I was Link from Legend of Zelda, but now I'm
Okay, well,
Snufkin
whatever.
from Moomin.
Oh, right, yeah. I should
Duh.
watch Moomin.
You should.
Is there? I'm assuming there's not an English dub.
There is, because
Oh, there
actually
is.
it was Japanese animated, but it was by a Finnish guy,
Yeah.
and it's very popular in England. All the shows like are made in England, basically. There's the modern 3D animated. Well, there's like comics, obviously. There's a modern 3D animated
Oh,
show
right, yeah.
that's on Sky TV. I don't think it's possible to legally stream it if you're in the US. But you
What
can
if
pirate it. And there's the 2D animated show from the 90s.
That's the one that I think of.
Yeah,
think of
that
it.
is the one I think of. It's free. The whole thing is free on YouTube.
Oh, hell yeah.
No.
Oh, you fell in the void.
I once got my friend on Discord call and made them watch Moomin with me for 3 hours. It was only animated, so each TV show's like each episode's like 15 minutes. So I'll see if I have a playlist.
How many
saved.
episodes are there?
Like, I feel like 40 something.
Oh, okay, that's not that bad.
Oh, my computer died again. It's because my dumbass
damn.
fucking started Discord.
Oh, you're missing
No,
out on
it
red
is-
light, green light.
I'm watching your stream. I'm really not.
Green
Oh, I
red
guess gameplay.
red light, green light is a good one. Well, it's like a really bad one, but it's funny. So
Is it like Squid Games?
Squid Game did not invent red light, green light.
Oh, have you watched the new season?
No, I have not. I haven't watched any.
Okay, apparently people. All I saw the ending clip, which was I think hilarious. I heard people complaining that the ending is like extremely depressing. They don't win, but like that's the entire point of the fucking series.
Yeah, I did hear that as well.
Like, I
I've
don't-
seen people complain about it, but I don't know anything
Like
about
respectfully,
it.
what do you think was gonna happen?
I think I saw something about it, but I don't know if someone just made it up or not.
I saw the last clip. It's hilarious.
Nice. Oh god, Withers with red light, green light is a bad one. And there's a Wither on my ass. I gotta... Interesting. Get out of here, get out of here, get out of here.
Okay, I need to do the parkour challenge.
Ah! Okay, I'm bored. I want to show you what happens if you disobey red light, green light. And you just die. I think you take like 4 hearts of damage if you keep moving.
We should. Oh, hi.
Yeah, we're playing with the George Likes Jam.
We're playing with Hello Zero PPAP with please stoop. We got Pumpkin Tom 14.
Pumpkin Tom
with the villager
14?
skin.
No way. Hold on, I have to yell at someone.
This sucks, but at least it's not Purge.
Oh my god, they almost knocked me off the map. That was crazy.
Okay, our new goal
Okay, I'm going in the garbage
is to
bin.
find spots
Never mind.
that zombies cannot reasonably get to us.
Yeah, well, they break blocks now, so go up high. Also, I just was in
That's
the
the
middle
button.
of like 30 zombies, and I lived. Because I'm the greatest. I want Purge to happen really badly. Because I
don't.
will instantly die if the Purge happens.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I'm
Oh,
not.
never mind.
I'm not.
One spotted me.
I'm on a hard
Hopefully
to
it-
have.
Hot. It walked off the ledge.
Oh, I'm watching you.
Trying to get-
Oh, I'm not watching you anymore. I'm gonna die. I forgot that skeletons are part of the zombie apocalypse now. It's so annoying.
Which is funny, because they're not zombies.
Yeah. Well, they're just zombies without the flesh.
I mean, I guess, okay, it depends. Are Minecraft zombies more magical in nature or more biological in nature? Because if it's a biological thing, then zombies and skeletons are absolutely different.
They're
But
definitely a
if it's
magical thing.
if it's just a magic thing animating a corpse, then I don't think the difference matters.
It's animating a corpse. It's an animated
I mean,
corpse.
I
I
figure,
don't
but
think it's like
we also have to consider what the lore of the disaster game is.
true.
My
You're
God,
right.
George likes jam. I can't believe.
Well, I mean, it's a zombie apocalypse, so, which I assume means that it's like a zombie apocalypse in fiction.
Yeah, which would in that case it would be science based. I guess.
Well, it
I
could
guess
be.
you could just- I mean, the skeletons might not be as bare bones as like the Minecraft makes it seem.
There also really isn't any difference between skeletons and zombies. Like, you can't really draw a distinct line between them.
I mean, I can. One is just bones. One is the body.
Well, sometimes, what if there's like a tiny little bit of flesh? Like, what if there's like a tiny chunk of the liver on the skeleton? Is it a zombie now?
No, it doesn't. It's not mainly.
There's
oh,
one.
fuck.
There's a line
I think
that's
werewolf
subjective.
is coming after me.
Oh yeah, the werewolf is definitely. I would advise crouching. Oh, the werewolf's gonna die by the zombies. Does the werewolf even? Oh no, it's not a werewolf. It was Oh no, there was a werewolf, but it instantly got killed. That was the purge happening. There's a person coming near you with a red name because of the purge.
Well, I'm dead, so.
Oh, I didn't see you die. I was distracted.
At least I think I'm dead.
Well, if you weren't dead, then that would suck. Yeah, you died. You died by the zombies. I like this map a lot. This is one of my favorite maps. It's just so
It
dumb.
reminds me of the Did you play any of the Minecraft console editions?
Yeah, that's the thing that I played for the entire time I played this game.
What
except
consoles
for
did you
recently.
play?
Xbox One.
Xbox. Okay.
And I
I'm
think
sure
I had the
Xbox
PS3
One
version.
I'm
Are you
sure the
talking about like
Xbox
the
One
battle?
Village is similar, but doesn't this especially down there, the vibes kind of remind you of like the Royal Village area?
Yeah, it does. Definitely. I got swapped with you and then fell off the ledge.
I played Wii U Minecraft
Really?
mainly. Yeah. Okay, I need to.
I'm sorry that you owned a Wii U. Oh my god, someone just swapped me on the ledge. That little bastard. I'm waiting for the purge so I can murder you. Although I would lose that fight because I'm... Oh, no, never mind. We're equals now. No, 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 no. Hehehe. I'm scared.
Guess what?
What?
Look at me.
Chicken butt. Wow. Well, good luck coming up. Oh, yeah. Oh, look. He's right behind me, isn't he? I can't stop to make quippy jokes, because I'll die by the tornado. Oh, we both...
Yes.
Yeah, we both died by the tornado. I can't quip, man.
Okay. Man, I hoped it would be cruise ship. That's my favorite map.
I do like Cruise Trip a lot. That's the newest map. Hello.
Well. Oh, is your skin a snail?
No, I'm not. No. Do I look like a snail? What do you think I am?
I don't. You're the happy 156 bird with a bunch of shit.
A bunch of
You're
shit?
Stuart.
What do you mean a bunch of shit?
Like your arms are weird, and you're wearing like a.
Well, the arms aren't weird. That's their wings.
Oh, I see.
They're the
I see.
wings.
I get it now.
This skin, I actually made the skin, and the skin came first, and I made the character around the skin, a Minecraft skin.
That's insane.
I'm actually,
Oh, I go.
it's actually a donut that I'm inside of.
Oh,
It's like
I see it
it's
now.
a donut.
Now that you pointed it out, yeah. It's
Yeah.
your bird body, and those are your feet, and you're in a donut. Yeah. I see.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very proud of this skin. It was actually fan art for a streamer I was watching at the time, and then
What
I just
streamer?
I kind of developed it over time. No shit.
Oh, I
this
got
is
a
bad
boat.
one. Oh, you got a boat?
Flood is just water level constantly rises, right?
Okay, I'm back. What?
How is it flooding? Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
I'm curious. If I'm in the boat, will it?
Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm dead. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god, the blindness. Oh.
That's right. Flood damages you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I think the flippers item prevents that though.
Please. 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 No. No. I lived for so long. That was such a humiliating death.
I think it's really dumb that boat doesn't help against the flood because you don't like rise up.
The boat. I do agree. The boat should be. The boat should protect you from the flood. I agree.
Like I don't know. I feel like literally. Oh my god. Go to nap. Okay, follow me.
Go to
once
nap?
it starts.
All right. You should fix your skin. It's bothering me.
I would have to log out and re-log in. I will do it like after this round.
That's my biggest Minecraft pet peeve of all time.
Yeah. Okay. Look. Boom. Now we're gonna go around the boat. The side.
I don't know how sinkhole works on this map.
Probably it just creates nothing. No, you're not supposed to go under.
I'm not.
You'll drown.
I'm not drowning. I'm breathing.
Oh, that's right.
There's an air pocket here.
My god. Wait. Look, there's another one even lower.
Ooh. Is there air pockets below? Well, there is an air pocket, and it's slowly growing towards us. We should probably leave this spot. There is slowly a big air pocket.
I mean, look, this is... No, Happy, this is as far as we can go in this direction.
Yeah, well, the other direction goes further, so I'm leaving. You're gonna die by the sinkhole.
I got a hard hat. I think I'm gonna be fine.
The hard hat is really good, because that protects you against acid rain. I don't know if it protects you against anvil rain. It should. I don't know if it does, though.
I hope so.
I hope so, too. Okay. It'll be really funny to watch you die from the sinkhole. Werewolf? Oh god, where's the werewolf?
Oh. I see the werewolf.
I hope the werewolf falls in the sinkhole.
Alright, I'm fine from the acid. I accidentally jumped off the world. Oops.
Oh. Well, that's what happens when there's a sinkhole.
No, I ran to the other side of the map. I tried to jump in the water, didn't realize the water didn't extend
Oh,
far.
nice. This is terrifying. Oops.
Okay, I need to look at my text messages.
I don't like watching the sinkhole gradually
Okay.
get closer to me.
Happy, my friend just watched Fight Club.
That's awesome. I need to watch
It's
Fight
the
Club.
best movie of all time.
It'll probably be up there, but I don't know if it's the all-time best. But people say that.
I'd say it's one of.
Oh, the werewolf's like right next to me. They're leaving. Oh, I think they're on a lower floor. Or a higher floor, maybe. Who knows? The fuck is that noise? Oh god, that's the werewolf.
Behind you. Have
Everything's
you ever
fine.
become
I'll
the
live.
werewolf?
You can fight the werewolf.
No, I asked if you've ever become them.
Oh, I've become the werewolf once, I think.
I feel like since there are 14 people in the lobby, sometimes less when it spawns. There's
Yeah.
16. And it happens often. Like, I don't think it should be that. Okay, we need to do the strat again.
Twins.
I
I'm
think
twinsy.
I think if there's no sinkhole, we can like do it. And,
Watch
like,
there be a
win.
sinkhole immediately.
I mean, even then, as long as we don't get unlucky with a placement, like I said, at the other end of the boat, we're fine.
True. I know what stat I'm doing. I'm going to the lifeboats. The lifeboats will save me. The lifeboats give you life. Oh, thank God grounding doesn't work for water. Oh my god. Imagine if we were in the water and grounding happened and we just drowned. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
that would
hanging out with
suck.
Mika Inu. No way, it's Miku.
Oh, I have 4K channel points now.
Nice.
I'm so close to 54,321.
You're so close to it.
Okay, lightning got me again.
Lightning keeps getting me, and it's making me sad.
I think it's because
It does target players, but it's randomly targeted. Ooh, this is a good spot. Oh, under the water wheel. There's little gaps
I bet.
of air under the water wheel.
Okay, I'm gonna try and find you. Is the water wheel at the opposite end of the where we spawn in?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's like propellers. There's two on either side. I'm on the left one, I think. Ow. Lightning. You're so mean.
Oh, I see. I'm at a water wheel. I'm not sure if this is the one you're at.
I think you're at the one on the other side.
Yes, yes. No, I'm here.
Oh. Hello. Water wheel. I'm gonna drown.
Water wheel.
Okay, the lightning is slowly carving a pathway to my... Can I breathe here? No.
Oh, blackout sucks for this.
I'm gonna drown. Damn. I wanna do something else anyways.
Okay, what minigame should we do?
I'm saying I need to do something else.
Oh, like no more stream? Or no more Minecraft?
Neither. I'm changing around my channel points.
Oh.
I'm making timing someone out cheaper.
Based.
And I also made the ads cheaper. Did you die?
No.
Oh. Oh, but you're going to. No?
Nope.
Okay. Whatever. Lame.
You have 4 viewers, 4 whole viewers.
Wow.
I think.
I think it's.
You should give me.
5.
You should give me moderator.
What would you do with moderator?
Literally nothing.
You make a compelling argument. Aren't you already VIP?
I meant on the stream. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I meant VIP on the stream.
Yeah,
Can you
I don't
talk
know.
in the chat?
I can talk in chat, but
Real quick, just like type something.
no, I think
Okay, no, you're not VIP. You should be VIP. I'm going to make you VIP.
that's so true.
Uh,
I don't even know what like VIP really does.
Community. It gives you a little fun badge. I can make certain things only exclusive to VIPs. Am I dying? I don't know. I'm not tapped into the game.
We haven't started yet.
Okay. Good.
Or no, never mind, we have. It's a zombie apocalypse and purge, so most likely.
I'm alive somehow?
No, most likely you'll die.
No,
You're not dead yet.
I went tap back in the
Like,
game for a quick
I don't
second.
know, respectfully, Happy, I don't like your chances.
I'll be fine.
Oh, Spud2214 is ganking my ass.
Ganking your ass?
No, I'm not VIP yet. I don't have the badge.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was doing, but then I was gonna die in the game, so.
No, clearly I'm more important than video games.
Well, I didn't want to die.
Okay, I'm where you are now.
Do you have a profile picture
On
Twitch?
I think so. I said it like forever.
Oh, it's 2 underscores and not 1. I see.
Yeah. That's right.
I thought it was...
underscore was... I think 1 underscore was taken.
Yeah. Okay, you do have one. VIP. There's 8 VIPs on my channel. I didn't even think I knew 8 people. I didn't know that I knew 8 people.
I didn't know 8 people existed, honestly.
Me neither. What is an 8?
That means at least 8 people watch your streams.
Wow. Some of
That's
these
pretty
VIPs
hype
haven't
fun.
talked in chat, I think, ever. Or maybe like once.
Okay, I'm still... The badge is not showing up. Sad.
You'd have to reset your,
I will
you'd have
do
to
this.
reset. Because it shows up on mine. It shows up on my end.
I'm exiting Twitch app on my mobile phone.
Did you
I'll
die?
re-enter it.
Yeah, you did. Okay.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, your badge. And you have the first badge because you were one of the first Twitch subs. Actually, I think you're the only Twitch sub right now because Super Red stopped subbing. Lame. I liked money. Oh. This guy's so nice. Buff villager in underwear is so nice. They gave me instant health.
Oh my god, I love buff villagers in underwear.
Of course you do.
I don't know what it... Oh my god, sinkhole still affects you when you're, like, flying because you're creative mode, because it's, like... I can't escape it. The most I can do is stay level with it.
That's really funny.
I mean, I could fly out of the map until I'm out of it, and then go back up.
Do you want to do other game modes?
I don't know, what other game modes are there?
There's a lot. This is
That
the
are
newest
fun.
one that they've ever added, and I just think it's a fun one to do on stream, or a fun one to do kind of brainless.
I remember there's, like Halloween, like, wave survival game thingy.
Murder Mystery?
Maybe.
Murder Mystery
I know
is
there's
a fun one.
TNT Run.
There is TNT Rush.
Go to the game.
That is a goated game. Oh yeah, you have to wait a minute. You can go into the garbage bins and it'll teleport you.
I stole an ender pearl from someone.
Hell yeah. Did anyone go up into the crane? I don't think they did. The crane is honestly bad when it comes to withers. The crane is actually just really bad in general. If you can go up into the crane, and there's a little area, like the control panel.
That's why it's a flex to go in though.
Yeah, and you can go into it, and it's an iron door with a lever, but only on the inside. So you shut
Oh my God.
you shut the door and get stuck
bin
there.
and teleported me to the opposite side of the same building.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Chest plate. I got a gold chest plate.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. I'm fully fucking decked out.
Decked out.
True. That game, I want to play that so badly.
I mean, you can.
I know you can.
I don't know if the Decked Out 2 world download exists, but certainly
It
OG
does.
Decked Out. That's okay. OG Decked Out world download definitely exists.
Do you play? Do you watch Hermitcraft regularly?
In intervals, sometimes I'll like stop and then I'll go back to it.
Yeah, you'll
right
have
now,
phases.
I've not watched any recently. Yeah.
I used to watch like 7 or 8 people, but I've only now I'm down to like only 5.
I rotate. I watched Wells Night a lot when he
Ooh, yeah, Wells Night.
wasn't dead.
Yeah.
He's not dead.
Rest in peace. He's not dead though. Oh,
I
died
watched
in the answer.
your typical goats, all the very popular ones.
Modern goats or old goats?
I say goats as in anyone on the Hermitcraft server with over 1 million subscribers.
Okay.
I definitely watch all of them.
Well, I think that's only like 3 of them.
No.
Because there's old goats like Doc M and Etho, but then there's new people like Green and Mumbo. Yeah. Oh, you're so dead.
I can't believe Flood damages me.
It's a flood.
Wait.
Wow, that was awesome. Alright, let's return to the lobby.
Yeah.
This is the prototype lobby, which is just the new games. There's Disasters and then there's Skyblock. Let's go to the main
Is Skyblock
lobby.
still prototype?
Yeah, it's still considered prototype because there hasn't been a full game release of it. It's still technically in like beta. Let's go to the arcade. Let's go to the arcade map.
How do I go to the lobby? Oh.
Yeah. You should follow me in lobbies. Are you in my lobby?
I think maybe.
I don't see you in
I
my
don't
lobby.
think so. No.
Slash party. I don't know. I don't know the You can watch my stream anyways. There's a bunch of arcade games that I really like.
Why did I know how to make them to /TP2?
You want to do Dropper?
Oh yes, please, yes, that would be goated.
I love Dropper. Their Dropper maps are really good. There's a couple of them that suck because they're really hard, but this is a really good Dropper mode. And also, I'm kind of goated at Dropper. I don't think there's very many people playing this right now. The arcade games, there's so many arcade games that all of them only have like 10 people on average. Even though this is by far the biggest server. It's really funny looking at the graphs. This is like significantly higher than it's like 3 times bigger than the second place. I think the average for the server
or the second place server period.
Second place Minecraft server.
Yeah.
At like period.
Well, dude, it's fucking hypixel, and all the other big servers committed suicide, basically.
It's very funny looking at the guy because this has like 50,000 average players. And the next average only has like 20,000 players. Guess what that one is? Guess what the second place Minecraft server is.
I have no idea.
I feel like you could easily guess it.
I probably could. I just like I don't do servers. I have no idea what servers are like still active from back in the day.
It's not an old one. It's not an old server.
Okay.
It's one that's still very active today. I'll give you a. I can give you a hint.
Okay, sure.
You're playing on it.
Hypixel is also the second.
Yeah, it's Hypixel China is the second place. It's just Hypixel but in Chinese, and it has like 20,000 viewers on average. And then third place, I don't remember what third place is. I think it's like The Hive or something, and that only has like 7,000.
Why can we? Oh, I guess they're waiting for people.
Yeah, we're waiting for people to join. We're just in the lobby right now. Okay, there's enough people.
Oh, anyways. I think because the lobby just ended, so it's good all those people in
here. Yeah, that's how it...
Anyway.
Oh.
Ignore my not being able to think. I am slightly intoxicated.
Right, yeah, you chugged a whole bottle of Jack Daniels.
I didn't chug a whole bottle.
You drank 2 whole bottles of Jack Daniels.
I can take a photo of the bottle. It was empty when I cracked it open.
Oh. You're just drinking out of the Jack Daniels bottle, but you just filled it with water?
No, I'm pouring it into a cup, but the bottle does happen to be...
I don't know this map, I'm gonna be honest. I guess it doesn't matter because it's an easy. Okay. Oh yeah, this map, okay. I've not played this in a hot minute. Oh shit, I didn't know where the... I forgot where the water was on this map. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to find the portal after you land. Oh, oops. I didn't know where the water was. I still don't know where the water is.
I think Dropper is still like the most downloaded... Like, the original one is still the most downloaded Minecraft map of all time.
Yeah, it's the most popular Minecraft map ever.
I mean, as it should be.
True. And I think the second place is...
Does scaling reduce your time?
No. But, what reduces your time is if people finish. The first player finishes, and it reduces the timer to 2 minutes. And then if 5 people finish, I think it reduces by a minute.
Dude. I keep on, like, getting close, then there's these fucking wires.
Oh, yeah, you're on that one. This factory one is a hard one. Oh, I've gotten so close. I feel like I'm pretty good at these. I'm definitely above average. You have to be so locked in.
I made it to the bottom, but I went the wrong way, so I...
Yeah, you didn't know where the water was?
Yeah. Because I keep respawning on, like, different...
Okay, I was doing the wrong thing on this map. I had the wrong strategy.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what to do now, I think. I just have to actually... My finger slipped. Okay, this is a hard map. I mean, clearly it's hard difficulty, but like, some of these... Okay, I finished. Oh my god, with like a couple seconds left to spare. Oh, I was only 3 people beat. Damn.
Okay, I got to map 4. I was on map 4, and I was like, on what I think would have been a successful run.
You said you're on a laptop, right?
Yeah.
With a mouse, though.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think this game would be possible without a trackpad.
Specifically, it's a Microsoft Surface, so it's basically an iPad with a keyboard and mouse.
Okay.
In terms of, like, computing capabilities.
Oh, so, right.
That's why I'm not using Discord on it.
Makes sense.
It does have a. I mean, it is literally the Microsoft's iPad. It has a touch screen, which is nice, and it comes with a pen.
There's one map that's so easy, you don't even have to press any buttons. You just fall into the water. I think I just saw someone die. How is that even possible on that map? Okay, where the fuck is the portal? I don't know this map.
Okay, I can't believe it. I like lined up my thing perfectly, but then I hit the one block in like the middle of the water.
Yeah. Honestly, don't really like this map that much. But I did first try it, so I'm not gonna complain. Oh, I don't remember what the- Oh, I don't remember this map. Okay.
Someone finished them all in like 38.
Yeah, they
Okay,
first tried all of it. I mean, I just beat it. I just beat all the maps, so. Can I not click onto you to spectate you, like, fully? Huh.
Okay. I'm assuming going in. Okay, I was right.
Honestly, this map's pretty easy.
That's fine. Whatever.
I mean, it's. I think this
What,
is your
castle?
first. This is your first time doing hypixel droppers,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
so
know
you don't
any
know
of
the
these.
maps.
Yeah.
I know most of these maps. They do add them fairly
I mean,
frequently.
I had the experience like with the last one. Like as soon as I know where to go, I can do it.
Yeah, it's
It's just
fairly
before
knowledge
that,
based.
you basically have to blindly guess.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I mean, you can technically sight read, but it's very hard.
I'm not good at drop. Like again, I'm not sure I've done droppers this decade.
Yeah, probably not.
Being so real.
I didn't do droppers since this game mode came out in like a long time. I wouldn't know how long, but why do we keep getting this lobby map? This is like the most boring lobby map. This is the most boring lobby. I just remembered I'm a snail, and that brings me so much joy.
Oh, I see. You should do face cam, but it's like not a picture of you. It's like record the face cam from a completely different stream, like 4 hours of that, and like overlay it on your stream.
I could just open up Twitch and go to Ninja stream and then put Ninja's face cam on my stream.
You should do that.
Hold on, who's live right now? That sounds like a very funny idea. Wait, Happy156 is live. Actually, I only follow people that I've rated on my stream account, so I'd have to go onto my phone to go to my...
I might have to leave. I might want to leave soon because I have to be up in the morning because
Right.
job, employment.
I should just put Queso's face cam on my stream.
I mean, it's not like I have like a lot of responsibilities, but I do have to be up at 8 to leave.
Right. I don't have to be up super early, but I do
thought
have
that you
to
don't
do
do
Weird
anything.
Al.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Weird Al tomorrow. Well, I do stuff sometimes. I do things sometimes.
Wait, Happy. Do you know the streamer Hectic?
What?
Hectic.
Hectic?
There's a Spelunky streamer that you sound a lot alike.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This one's evil. Launch Zone? I haven't seen it before. That one's evil. That one's so fucked up.
Man, I do not like Sewer. This does not feel like an easy one for me.
Really? Sewer's one of the easiest. As soon as you get past the first pipe, it's just smooth sailing. This is probably my least favorite map, if I'm going to be honest. Out of all of these maps, this one's my least favorite.
Oh, Warp is fun.
You have fun on Launch Zone. That one's mean.
Yeah, see, UFO, this one I know. It should not take me that many tries.
Okay. Alpharad is live. I could do Alpharad's face cam.
True, John Jacob Raban the Fourth.
Is that my name?
That's Alpharad's name.
I forgot about that. Why do you just know his full name? Good answer.
Can you mute your stream mic for a second
Um,
before I tell you the answer?
what answer?
Why I know his full first name.
Do you know him personally?
No. Actually, whatever, I don't give a fuck. We have the same first name.
Oh, nice.
Even
John?
though we both don't go by our first name, and we have the same one.
Oh, well, that's like one of the most, that's like the most common name.
Dude, I
in the
know,
world.
my full name is so common. I've tried searching myself up, even including keywords related to Pokemon. It's impossible.
That's, honestly, that's kind of awesome. Because you're like fully anonymous.
Anonymous. Only because I haven't done like anything notable or posted a lot or done a lot under my real name, but like, it's like one step below being named John Doe.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are worse things like this. Also, there was a time, this is kind of embarrassing, when I watched so many Alpharad videos, and like Alpharad, it was Alpharad Plus at that point, that my internal monologue was in his
Alpharad
voice.
Plus.
My internal monologue was in his voice at one point.
That's awesome. I wish my internal monologue voice was fucking All Tribe's stupid fucking laugh. Do you know what I'm talking about? His stupid fucking goofy laugh?
Yeah.
His laugh is...
You mean the editor? What's his fucking name? Editor Colin? No.
Dot
Before
Colin?
Colin.
You're
No,
talking about Dot Colin?
no, before Dot Colin, whoever their editor was. That was actually Ultra. Like,
Will
Justin, I
N.G.
think?
Lee is the editor for All Tribe. But I don't...
No, Alfred, I guess
Joe
it was
Snippy?
Deluxe back then. No, the editor was Ultra, or whatever.
Oh, was it All Tribe?
They pretended Ultra was their editor.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. I forgot they did that. I did watch Alpharad Deluxe a lot, but not...
Legendary video.
Not
I
often.
think I've watched... I stopped keeping up with them before Gold, because I could not watch a video a day, but before Gold started, I think, or not... before they did, yeah, Gold.
That one
I
in
think
easy
I
is
watched
kind of crazy.
every single video on that channel.
Damn. That one is not an easy one. I don't know why that one's an easy. King's Pass is not... I think King's Pass used to be a medium, but they changed it. Okay, I totally thought I missed that water. I hate the people with the trails, because it completely blocks your screen. Oh god, this map. I forgot about this map. This map's pretty tough. Oh my god, I almost did it first try. Oh. I would have been the first player if I didn't miss that. Okay, I think I figured out the strat.
Upside down is definitely easy, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are like so easy, it's too easy for easy. There's one that's, I think it's called barbecue, and you literally just, you take your hands off the keyboard and finish it. I think the worst one is, there's like, I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called like Frog Swamp or something. But it's the absolute, I've never beaten that map before. I don't know how to beat it. I should set up a system to where I can just toggle on random people's face cams. Oh yeah, if 5 players finish, the timer gets reduced to 30 seconds and not a minute.
No, I was there. I was so close.
I don't blame you for struggling on this one. It's definitely a knowledge map. You don't have to go into that tiny gap. You can just kind of fall into the hole normally. And then sprint.
Oh, I didn't realize you could go into sprint while you were following it.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah, that explains a lot. Yeah,
No, I thought you had to start falling in sprint.
No, you can sprint in midair.
Okay,
that explains a lot.
I'll do one more round before I go.
You should vote for BBQ. I want to get that one.
Not showing up as in. Oh, it is.
It's in the. It should be the first slot.
What was the other one I remember being easy?
Board games is also an easy one. There's a hot air balloon easy one that's also really easy.
No, what are the medium ones that are or hard ones that I'm not bad?
There's a couple that are just fairly easy. Oh my god, it's
I want with the Ralsei skin.
It's Asgore.
No.
No?
Have you played Deltarune?
Well, I know like every single thing about it. I have not played it. I have played Undertale, but not
No,
Deltarune.
you should. Should.
Yeah.
Just like pirate it, even if you don't want to pay for it.
I'm not pirating it.
Or no, what you should do is because the chapters 1 and 2 demo is free.
Yeah, I had the chapter 1 and 2 demo. I just never got around to it. Yeah, did you like barbecue? You just kind of stand still. Oh god, I forgot what to do with this one.
Oh my god, Tetris?
Yeah, it's retro. Hashtag retro. Oops, wrong way. Stupid fucks with the fucking trail. The trail is so annoying.
You can toggle player visibility, you know.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do that. Because that's lame. Oh god, I forgot how this one works. Oh god, how do you do this one?
Yeah, I'm very bad at this. I'm just gonna blame my inebriation.
Well, yeah, you're wasted and you're on a laptop.
I wouldn't say wasted.
Inebriated.
I'm 2 drinks in. Admittedly, my alcohol tolerance is like 0. And it has worked because I'm feeling I was like fucking... I mean, not like overshare. I was like kind of fucking depressed earlier.
Oh yeah.
Which is why I did it, and I'm feeling better. So like, oh my god, I thought it was a 1 block gap, so it worked, right?
I mean,
any children, if you're listening to this, you should drink the pain away.
True. You should drink the paint.
True. That's real. No.
I love drinking pain. I love drinking
I
pain.
might
love
actually
drinking pain.
beat one.
You're not beating
If
this
I
next
can do
one.
this in 36.
You're not beating this one. I'm just gonna say that now. I'm just gonna tell you the strategy. You just go directly straight. You just sprint straight all the way through, and then at the last minute you turn around quickly. I don't think you're turning enough. That's a big thing that you need to know. You have to like whip your head around a lot. Flash. I mean, you're playing on like a crappy little Microsoft laptop, and I have a 1440p 100 hertz monitor. So.
I'm gonna go now, probably.
All right.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I think I'll probably end stream. Seems like a good time. Alright, who do I raid? Oh, rest in peace. Who do I raid? I should wake up bright and early tomorrow for fucking, Oh, Nandre went live. Hanyu is live. I'd like to raid someone that I haven't raided before. There are quite a few people live that I would raid, but not like one of the, not one that stands out, except for maybe Hanyu. I would definitely do Hanyu, but, if I can find anyone else, I will raid Hanyu. Or if I can't find anyone else, I'll raid Hanyu. You guys better not have left. You get free channel points if you stay. I'll just do Hanyu. It's easier. Such raid Hanyu. Hanyu JB. Alright. I should probably open their stream. So that I can be there for the raid immediately. Okay. So that I can be there. No. Don't do that. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye. Have fun at Hanyu. They're awesome. They make music. They're making music right now. And they're fucking awesome. And I love them. They're so cool. And you should go hang out with them. Actually, they might stop making music soon. But whatever. Goodbye. Raid now. Okay, and now VOD. Goodbye, VOD. Bye.